This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
A great opening, Michael Dean. Thank you. Welcome to DBL. It is Friday. We made it to the end of the longest week I feel like we've ever had.
Of the year?
Of the year. It just started. I'm Tori. Got it. I'm Tori here with Jeff and Brandon. I'm hearing that Lindsay's not with us yet, so that's why there was a little pause. We'll get to her.
Did you not get my joke of the year thing?
What?
It's the first week of the year.
Yeah, I did.
It should have been a little more received.
All right, Jeff's being real grumpy today, just so everyone knows, okay? I'm just letting it out there. All right, here we are at the end of the first full week of 2021, as Jeff said, and what a week it's been. There is a lot of continuing fallout from the riot at the Capitol. We're now learning that a Capitol police officer has died from his injuries after clashing with the mob. I believe he was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher and passed away from that. The president gave a speech and promised an orderly transition to the new administration, but is facing a ton of pressure to resign. Now, several members of his cabinet have resigned, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Let's not forget 2 new members of Congress, though, were elected this week from Georgia. We never had a moment to congratulate Warnock and Ossoff. So after all that's happened, the question is, how did this week make you feel?
Why don't we start with you? Should we go in order? We don't have Lindsay yet?
Do we have Lindsay? I want to make sure. No, we're going to go with Jeff first because I think we have some B-roll for you.
Listen, Tori, I don't think I got the message completely in the morning meeting about this, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not completely focused on what the government is. I'm really focused on 2021, what I could control, right? Again, people are going to write in, you're not being sympathetic to COVID, to what people are going through, to different races and nationalities and cultures. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying. When I reflect on this past week, I reflect on maybe this might be a better America moving forward in 2021. I don't mean to be that all the time optimist guy, but you have to have a positive outlook for the future if you want any sort of positive results, right? So my thing is, looking back on this week, it was a terrible week for America. It was a terrible week for many people. But a lot of people are out there pointing their fingers about whose fault this was and what would have happened if things were reversed. Let's take the situation for what it is. It was horrific, right? Let's take the situation where it's going to be next week and the week after and in week 3 in a month and whatever. It's going to be better. We're going to be better. Trump just put out that tweet yesterday, and again, I hate just saying his name because already people get all up in arms. But he said, listen, we're going to have a smooth transition. Even it seems like he is giving in a little bit to this, which means his followers should give it a little bit to this and move forward. Basically, I'm rambling on here. I totally didn't get the message. Listen, I just want to show a picture of my kids. Okay. That's all I care about. I should have just did this and be like, this is what I care about. What do you think, Brandon?
I think you said a lot in terms
I'm sorry.
It can get better, right, Brandon? Go ahead and jump on that.
Yeah, and Jeff, you shouldn't feel bad about feeling grateful for your family, feeling grateful for your health, feeling blessed in a sense, because in a dark week like this, why would we sit and why would we dwell on the negative? So if people are coming at you right now and saying like, oh, you're being insensitive, no, that's not true. Because to help other people, you have to feel secure and you have to be healthy and happy with yourself within. So I'm beyond thankful after this full week for this platform. I'm beyond thankful for my grandparents, the time I got to spend at home, and I'm glad that I get to have these talks with my mother because she's out here living in Denver with me and my sister right now. Because since I turned 36, October 16th, every day I think of death. Every day I think I'm one step closer to my demise, to dying, as we are. I've never thought about it like that. And then you throw in a week like this where all this chaos and all this craziness, and you bring in all this frustration, but you realize I have the opportunity to be the good in life. You know, I could be mad. I could be, this is hypocritical, the way they treat black people, the way that, yes, I am. I am infuriated with that. But at the same time, I realize that I have the privilege to be in a position to help others, to send the elevator up for others. And that's what I'm going to dwell on for this entire week.
Good for you two, to be honest with you. I'm grateful to have you here to keep me on the straight and narrow. I think we do have Lindsay back. Lindsay, are you there? And if you are there, could you let us know what you felt about this week? These two felt, to be honest, there's a new dawn coming. Something better is approaching, I think, and then I have a privileged platform to speak from it. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, this week was really weird because I can say it was one of the best weeks of my life just to reconnect with Colin and relax. We did some yoga. We stayed at Stonefield Villa Resort and just relaxed and did meditation. And so this was really a time to reconnect. And I'm still in that mindset of just like floating and relaxing and getting back to my peace. And, you know, it's been a chaotic year and I'm not letting anything stop that. And so I understand we work in a job where we're constantly bombarded with news. But that doesn't affect my day-to-day. When the cameras go off, I'm relaxed and in my space. But it is weird to come home and juxtapose that with seeing white supremacists storm our Capitol and knowing that if we try to say we're just getting better from here, that's a nice sentiment. But understanding that our history shows that these type of tantrums and people holding Confederate flags and being racist is something that happens on and on and on. I mean, countless times. We have slavery, and then we have police that turn into slave catchers. We have Jim Crow laws that try to stop black people from succeeding. We have GI laws that stop black people from receiving the proper care after they come back from fighting for this country. You know, we have the Little Rock 9 incident and how white supremacists reacted to that. So to look at this incident and say we're getting better and better, we actually have to face and accept the reality that America is in right now, and that we have a lot of people that actually are not dealing with accepting and acknowledging racism. And so once we do that, and hopefully with Joe Biden and Kamala, we actually reckon with our past and discuss it and talk about it, so we can find historically how we cannot go back and repeat the past like we did on Wednesday, because that was very disturbing to come back to.
Well, sensitivity training just writes in, I agree with you, Lindsay. To be honest, if I'm going to go to myself on this, I'm a little bit more on the Lindsay side here. What I realized this week is I'm very blessed, yes, but I really wanted to see and show the audience what I saw was such a clear distinction between what happens when you have a group of black protesters, let's say, and white rioters. So this is, I think I have pictures. This on the left, you guys might have seen this. Joe Biden spoke about it earlier, said his granddaughter sent him this picture. This was the Capitol, right there, the same Capitol that was rioted during the Black Lives Matter protesters, okay? Full gear, full camo, ready and prepared. And on the right, I could not stop saying, how are they just getting in the building? They just got in and they stayed there for hours. So I think for me this week showed me very clearly the difference between what people look like when they riot or protest. And remember, those are two different things. I saw a clear, distinct difference, and I'm glad Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to address that, because if we don't, we've lost. We've lost, in my opinion. All right, please write us in. Let us know how you feel about this week. It feels like it's been 10 years. Also, we're all jealous of you getting to be closer with Colin. Do you guys agree? We all want to be closer with Colin.
And I'll bring him around soon.
You're glowing this morning. What did you have for breakfast? Because I want what she had.
She had a trip to St. Lucia. That's what she had.
Listen, let me tell you, this sounds real crazy, but Colin went to the supermarket and got me Honey Nut Cheerios and skim milk, and I feel like a kid again. So I'm very happy about that.
That's awesome. All right, well, moving on to more the fallout of what happened. The D.C. police and FBI are all on the hunt for the people who were seen storming the Capitol. They've released photos of the suspects, asking for the public to help ID them. We're going to show them here. It turns out that a lot of Gen Zers are great internet sleuths. Using people's social media posts and the pictures from the riots, they've actually identified many of the people. A number of these suspects have lost their jobs. Others are facing arrest. So what do you think of these young internet detectives helping law enforcement track these people down? And what should happen to them? Let me just say this. Two groups of people I didn't know, because I'm old. One, the TikTok users identified so many, and they actually took filming of some police letting people in. I mean, they were the crowdsource that was on the ground. And two, the K-pop fans that like the band BTS, they also are becoming sleuths in order to help identify this. Brandon, what do you think about all this?
I mean, I absolutely love it, because
the youth.
No. I love the fact that our Gen Z is so involved in this, so involved in this change. Because if you think about it, our generation, we kind of look up to the ones before us and be like, well, we're in this mess because of y'all. And I feel as though my little sisters and all who are in college and all, and they're looking up at us, our generation, and was like, you know what, I see you guys are keeping the change going, but it's not going as fast enough for us. We don't want to live in that world. So my sister Madison, my sister Jason, Tyson, like I look at their posts and I'm so inspired. You know, I'm so inspired by that level of awareness and that level of fairness that they have, because yes, they did condemn the riots and the looting over the summer, but at the same time, they also educated their friends and educated other people around them. So these Gen Zers,
it's amazing. I want to get Jeff really quick. You don't love social media, but for this purpose, kind of turned out well, no?
Absolutely. Listen, you know, we only have 20. I hate when you go to me when there's 20 seconds. I was like, please just move on. But of course, here we go. I don't even know what to say. Yes, I think it's fantastic. And I'm not saying it's not fantastic, right? But we get pigeon. I don't even know what the hell I was saying. Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Great. Good talk.
There we go.
Really well said. Coming up.
Oh, wait, hold on. What's your last thought? Oh, we're out of time. Sorry. Read the keys. Go for it.
Wow. Gets me right there on a Friday. Coming up on DBL. Could President Trump be removed via the 25th Amendment? What is the 25th Amendment? How realistic is it with less than 2 weeks until he's out? And later, we are chatting with award-winning actor Michael Chiklis. This guy is awesome. About his new Border Patrol show, Coyote.
Wait. Oh, no, sorry. Finish up.
Don't go away. I hate you. Welcome back to DBL. All right. Well, there are a lot of people, I'm sure you've been hearing, demanding that the president be removed from office for his role in the Capitol riots. So I want to explain this so it's easy for everyone to understand. There's two options on the table. We have impeachment or the 25th Amendment. Now, if he were removed by the 25th Amendment, it would require Vice President Mike Pence and a majority of the president's cabinet secretaries to make it happen. There is word now that Pence is not on board 100% with that idea. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are also considering impeachment. If they go that route, right, and Trump is convicted this time, then he would be banned from ever being president again. I want to check on that. So what do you think should happen, and what do you think will happen? The 25th Amendment, just so you all know, has never been invoked, ever. Never. Now, it's kind of quietly, when President Reagan had to go under for anesthesia, we had that, sign off just when he went under, but it's never been invoked. Lindsay, do you think we're going to get the 25th on this in the last 12 days of his administration?
Honestly, I just want the next 10, 12 days, like you said, to be done with. I think that because it's going to be so partisan, if they do go the impeachment route, I don't think they're going to pass and use the 25th Amendment. But if they do decide to impeach him, that is going to be the process that we've seen in the past. And I think people who are, let's say they voted for Trump and they're trying to figure out how they do not align with what happened at the Capitol and understand that that was provoked, then they will look at this as another intent to be partisan and then feel like they have no place to align with in this next leadership coming up. So I really hope with his statement that he just put out saying that he will peacefully transition the power, I hope that he stays true to that and that his cabinet members that are still there hold him accountable to that so we can just really move on, because 10 days does not need to feel like a year.
I got to push back a little, and Jeff, I want to get your take on this. I think if we let nothing happen after the Capitol was breached, then that becomes the norm and there's no consequences. And I think if we can get Amy Coney Barrett through a Supreme Court justice trial hearing in the Senate in 1 week, we can impeach this man, in my opinion, in 1 day. Remember, it has to go through the House. They already have the numbers. And then it has to go to the Senate for him to be kicked out. Now, I don't know if the Senate would do that, but we saw some senators changing their mind at least. What do you think?
The Bears are in the playoffs this weekend. Oh, go Bears. Listen, man, can't we just get through this next 2 weeks? I'm with Lindsay.
Why does this get a pass?
I don't care if listen, put him in prison, let him free. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care.
I don't think that we're so numb about it.
But Tori, I don't think it's a pass. I think that we want to arrest the people at the Capitol. We understand that it was provoked.
I think he incited violence and should be either removed from offices, not have the nuclear codes, or certainly be censured or impeached, or something should happen so that this doesn't just get down in history.
But if we go through the process and nothing happens, I think that the entire half of the country that voted for President Trump is going to be frustrated again and go into a new administration exhausted all over again and not even give them a chance to try to start and fix things.
I hear you all, and you're all exhausted, but the founders would want this taken care of with a consequence. They absolutely would.
Thomas Jefferson.
We'll be right back. The Bears!
Welcome back to DBL. Actor Michael Chiklis stars as a Border Patrol agent in the news CBS All-Access show Coyote, streaming right now. I caught up with him earlier in today's Chatting with the Stars. Michael Chiklis, welcome to DBL. Let's get right into it, Michael. One of your best-known roles was obviously in the Fantastic Four films, in which you played the Thing. Now, there's rumors swirling that Marvel might reboot the franchise. So the question is, which actor would you like to see don the Thing's trademark rocky skin?
There's some great people out there that could do justice to that role. I don't know. Who do you think?
He's kind of a Rock figure. The Rock played the Rock. He's the Thing.
Right? Kind of it feels like a natural, I suppose.
My answer to everything is, who do you think could play this? And the answer is always The Rock.
Okay, let's go with The Rock.
We'll go with The Rock. We'll go with The Rock. All right, let's get into some other characters you played. From your starring role on The Shield to the Fantastic Four, which we mentioned, you played more than a few tough guy characters. Now, I want to know, do any of these characters resemble you in real life, or is this the complete opposite of what you're used to in real life?
I will say Vic Mackey is very different than myself. I guess in ways he was a guilty pleasure to play because, you know, when in life do you get to be that cocky and throw your weight around like that and get away with it? You know, it was fun to do, but nothing like me in real life, that's for sure.
Well, so it's a little escape for you. I like it.
One of the great things about being an actor is you get to role play and, you know, walk a mile in another person's shoes. And in the case of Coyote, that's what we're doing. I'm walking 100 miles in another man's shoes. It's all about a journey.
When we get to the United States, you'll have to apply for asylum. You're gonna need to know what to say. In English is better, okay?
Let's get into your role on Coyote because it looks very exciting. You play a Border Patrol agent who is forced to work for the same people he spent his life trying to keep out of America. How do you prepare for that role?
What I'm really proud of is that it's not political. This is it's a human story. And you asked me how I prepare for it, you know, in a number of different ways. First of all, you have to talk to people from both sides of the border and you have to get everybody's points of view. And that's another thing that I'm really proud of, is that we represent everyone's point of view. We shot it in Mexico 100%. Mexico's another character in this play. You know, you really feel the place and the authenticity of it. So it's just physical and magnificent. It's beautiful. It's eye candy to look at. We were supposed to shoot 10 episodes for the first season, but of course, like everybody else, we got COVIDed. And it was frustrating because we were in the middle of one of the great experiences collectively of our lives, and we can't wait to get back down there and start shooting the second season. And regardless of what happens politically, the border's still going to be there. And these questions are going to remain, and this conversation needs to be had.
Absolutely. Very timely, very interesting, fascinating concept. But Michael, before we go, I want to ask you quickly, because me and my co-hosts always talk about what we're binge watching. Anything you suggest to the viewers that you're binge watching right now?
Like so many other people, The Queen's Gambit was extraordinary. But we've been doing Schitt's Creek. What a fun, funny show. The first season, you know, starts off fun, and then it really deepens and gets better and better. And, you know, especially right now with all the stress and tension in the world, if you want to just escape and laugh and just be silly, I would highly recommend Schitt's Creek. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Michael, thank you so much. If you're not binge watching Schitt's Creek, please catch the new series Coyote on CBS All Access. Michael, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for joining us here on DBL, buddy. Best of luck to you.
Cheers, man. Happy New Year.
All right, we'll be right back, everybody.
welcome back to DBL. People love bumper stickers, but you might want to think twice about them. We're telling you why in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. Bumper stickers could actually inadvertently tell criminals all about you. So sports stickers might reveal that you're not at home at night because you're at a game. Stickers can also reveal personal information, like how many kids you have and even their names. Yeah, I'm always worried when I see those stick families because they can be like Andy if it's written there, you know? Then there are those baby on board stickers. They signal to criminals that your hands could be full at your destination, making you an easy target. That's really good. When it comes to driving for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
I don't even have a car, but we keep doing these segments, and I'm like, maybe I should get a car and get CarShield. Like, this is awesome.
You definitely should.
We're doing our job.
You definitely should.
Man.
Do you think the amount of bumper stickers indicates how insane you are by any means?
Yes, sometimes. Lindsay, we love you so much. Stay beautiful and pink. We'll see you on Monday, same time, same place. Bumper stickers.
Tori's got 20.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
The first full week of 2021 is one for the books. From chaos at the U.S. Capitol to still being in the middle of a pandemic. Where do we go from here as a country? Lawmakers are now calling for use of the 25th Amendment. Will President Trump be removed from office early? In today's Freedom Files Wrongfully Convicted, the story of a man who spent 20 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. How he's moving on towards a new life after his time behind bars.
Keep the sorry. It's okay, because I'm gonna flourish regardless.
And cue the royal drama. Meghan Markle's sister is releasing a tell-all memoir. Will the book taint Meghan's clean image?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Wow, Rob, our cameraman, also playing stage manager.
Bravo!
We even got a little of the camera in the
Rob.
shot. I like that.
Unbelievable. Okay, so welcome to DBL. It is Friday, January 8th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Tori. Erica joining us from home. So great to see your face, Erica. Welcome back. So here we are at the end of the first full week of 2021, and What a week it's been. There's a lot of continuing fallout from the riot at the Capitol. Well, we're now learning that a Capitol police officer has died from his injuries after clashing with the mob. That is heartbreaking. The president gave a speech and promised an orderly transition to the new administration, but is facing a ton of pressure to resign. Now, several members of his cabinet have resigned, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. And let's not forget, 2 new members of Congress were elected this week from Georgia. Congratulations to them, but you're either very happy about that or you're not. That's our country right now. So after all that's happened, and I know most of you watching are exhausted by the tension right now. We are too. But in order for us to not repeat what happened yesterday, we need to talk about it. So the question is, how did this week make you feel? Write in. What did you take from it? Tori, I want to start with you. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. I think some people took offense a little bit, which is fair from my take yesterday on sort of the optimism. And I think that's really okay. And I'm glad to hear that feedback. I do want to say that this week showed me, and I think showed the world, we have a very different approach as to what color of the skin is protesting or rioting. Because I want to show you, I'm sure you all have seen this, Joe Biden even mentioned it. On the left is the Lincoln Memorial, and that is when the BLM, not the Capitol, is the BLM protesters, they were getting prepared, they were all suited up in camo, ready to go. And what I can't get over this week, I simply can't, is how the mainly white rioters were allowed to walk in. There was no rubber bullets. There was no tear gas. There was nothing. They were there for hours. I went to make coffee. I came back. They're still there. If black people had done it, I think we would have seen a different thing. And I cannot go another week without saying that because I think it needs to be made clear.
And
what about you?
Listen, I think that's a really important thing to say because I think when you say it, you acknowledge it. And when you acknowledge it, then you can advocate for change.
Right.
So, there's many images and moments that are seared into my brain. And one being exactly what you said, the difference in policing and us calling that what it is so we can continue to advocate for reform and justice and equality for all, regardless the color of your skin. So I think that's a really important takeaway so we can handle it, right? And I think also something that I learned, and it's hard for me to even discuss this on the show because it is so grotesque, but many individuals wore symbols of hate, right? We saw the Confederate flag. We saw a lot of T-shirts with 6MWE. And I'm not saying this to fan the flames. I'm not saying this to add fuel to the fire. I'm saying this so we can address what it is. I had to look it up, as many people on the internet did. It became a trending hashtag. It means 6 million wasn't enough. And it makes my stomach sick saying that out loud. And that's, of course, in regard to the Holocaust. Now, again, I'm saying that so we can talk about it, so we always talk about uncomfortable things on this show. And if we face it, if we talk about it, we can advocate against it. And then to leave things on a positive note, just finally, some fashion of unity between Republican and Democratic senators. I know many of our viewers, many of Americans watching right now are sick and tired of our Congress not working for us, only thinking about themselves, never reaching across the aisle like they used to do a decade ago. So I'm hoping, after yesterday's events, I'm hoping that we can see in 2021 more reaching across the aisle and more representation of the people, the constituents. So that's what I took from it. What about you, Jeff?
I think what you guys said was very poignant. I agree with everything you said, even though at one point I was getting something out of my eye and it cut to me on the camera, so I was paying attention.
I thought you were crying. No, I'm good.
No, well, yeah, that's what I should have said. I was crying. But listen, I don't want to repeat what you guys just said. I thought it was great. I hate to be the continual optimist on this show, but what happened this week was wrong. I want to reiterate that. I'm not insensitive to what's happening in our government with COVID, with all that stuff, but I have to focus on what I can control right now because I've noticed I've always tried to pick up something after the new year and what can I do better in this new year, right? And I know I'm speaking in broad terms of the whole year instead of the week, but I'm a better person to the world if I'm a better me, right? If I could control me and control the things in my life that I can and make me the best me I can, the more I could reach out across the aisle, so to speak, to my friends, to my women, to Erica, to people of color, to people of the LGBT community, to anybody. The better I am, the better I will be with you, the more I could help you.
The more present you'll be even.
Exactly. Yeah. So the more that, I don't mean to be selfish in that aspect, because what you guys just said is very important, but I think you need to take care of yourself first before you help other people. And I want to go to Erica, because Erica, first of all, again, sorry for everything you're going through, but we haven't heard from you this week, and it's good for you to be back.
Well, no, thank you. I appreciate everything that you guys are saying. One note that I'll make to all of you is stop being so apologetic about what you're saying. These are things that we need to be very steadfast and clear about what is going on. Sam, you mentioned fanning the flames. You aren't fanning flames when you're just speaking the truth. I often get people who are my, quote, adversaries, who you, just to be very clear, you can only be an adversary if you have someone to fight with, and I'm not fighting with you, so you can fight the air. But let me be very clear with you. I am not making things a racial issue. Me as a black woman, I do not have the power to make it a race issue. I'm speaking on an issue that is about race. What we saw is white supremacy and the idea that white supremacy was being compromised, or that there is power that needs to be perceived to have for white people. If you were someone who decided that you were going to support Trump and it was based on your wallet, it was based on your industry, now is the time to speak up, because we need to know, like, who is with them and who is with the people. I mean, it's a very simple thing. And when I think about what happened on Wednesday, I also think about what happened on Wednesday in downtown LA with a 25-year-old black woman named Berlinda Nito. This is a story that's been picked up all over, mainly on social media, because we have groups of people who really want to see justice being served, although it is not their responsibility to go after the, quote, bad guys. This young woman was walking down the street in downtown LA, and she was accosted by a group of Trump supporters who were demonstrating, and she had her wig torn off, she was beaten, and then she was saved by a Good Samaritan. And just to be clear, there is a photo that is going around of a larger white male with a red beard, and people are saying that he was assaulting her. According to the victim, as well as the police, he was actually the Good Samaritan who pulled her from the crowd and whispered in her ear to just come with him because they were trying to kill her. This is the same place that just months ago people were marching in the streets saying that Black Lives Matter. What I picked up from this week is that we have so much work to do, and it's not about lip service. It's about actually putting your actions and your steps where your mouth is. It's about actually doing the work. So, Jeff, I'm not mad at the idea that you want to look within yourself and figure out how you can do better. I think that this is a great time for us all to reflect and look within ourselves and decide that if we don't want to be the same person next year that we are today, we need to make those changes. And I think we can all benefit from that.
Well said. Well said. That's why we have these conversations on the show. We don't want to ever gloss over anything or brush anything under the rug. We want to face it, talk about it, and advocate and evoke for change with actionable steps. To Erica's point, 2021 can be not only a new awakening, but hopefully a new normal with equity and equality. So thank you for all your words. And DBL Nation, please keep writing in. At some point, we'll definitely be reading your comments because you guys have a lot to say. We appreciate you. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, meet a young man who served almost 2 decades for a murder he did not commit. Will an apology do any good now? That's later in Freedom Files, wrongfully convicted, plus the road to redemption for a former gang member who was just named Teacher of the Year. He tells our own Al Jackson about his inspirational journey. And could President Trump be removed via the 25th Amendment? How realistic is it with less than 2 weeks until he's out anyways, as well as a lot of Generation Z? They're the ones that have located a lot of those protesters / rioters. And guess what? Now they're facing the consequences because of those internet sleuths. Stay tuned.
This is a Smile Direct Club aligner. It's how Smile Direct Clubs.
Welcome back to DBL. There are a lot of people demanding that the president be removed from office for his role in the Capitol riots. Two options are on the table right now, and a lot of you have a lot to say about it: impeachment or the 25th Amendment. If he were to be removed by the 25th Amendment, it would require Vice President Mike Pence and a majority of the president's cabinet secretaries to make it happen. And there's word that Pence is not on board with that idea. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are also considering impeachment. So here's the thing. If they go that route, and if Trump is convicted this time, then he could be banned from ever being president again, okay? I know you guys have a lot of questions in regard to this, especially what's the difference between 25th Amendment and impeachment? What do you think should happen? Tori, what will happen? And briefly, the difference between the two.
So one is the 25th Amendment is there. By the way, it's never been invoked, ever. This has never been done. So that would be Vice President saying, I think the president is unfit, and a majority, 8 people of the cabinet agree. It's a process that's never been tried, and people want it tried now. I think Pence will not go for it. And I also think several of the secretaries have resigned because they don't want to be part of this vote, which is part of it. Number 2, impeachment. You're going to see an impeachment article being brought to the House because we have the House. And at some point, it'll go to the Senate. If they convict, it'll happen. But what I have to say very clearly is this action can't go without consequence. If it does, we are now allowing a breach of the Capitol to be okay and part of the constitutional process. If there's no censure, which is like a slap on the wrist, an impeachment, or at least an effort for the 25th Amendment, what are we telling the world? That the Law and Order Party doesn't want to incriminate real criminals? How does that work?
Especially because, in Erica, jump in here, we see already many of the rioters arrested, as they should be, because of Generation Z. These are young adults who are sitting at home, looking at photographs, doing their own investigative work, and forwarding it to police departments, FBI, etc. And now those individuals are facing the consequences. They're being held accountable. They're going to jail. They're going to pay with time. So why is this not applied to other people in positions of power, in your opinion?
You know, honestly, I think that so many people have been complicit in so many things at this point that there is a fear factor there. And I mean, I don't find that to be shocking. Like, if one person goes down, who are they going to take with them? I've said and speculated, in my opinion, for a very long time, what is the dirt that some people is on some of these people? Because I cannot even justify in my wildest dreams the actions that some of our leadership has taken. Like, it seems very self-destructive. So I only imagine that there's something that's being hidden in my opinion.
Erica.
It's true. And I just want to say again, you cannot get away with inciting violence that reacted in actual violence and be the leader and get away with it. I am not okay with that. And I think a lot of the country is not okay with that. So whatever the consequences may be, it can't be unchecked. Right. It can't.
And I only chuckled because when Erica says, in my opinion, I just love it because she's
a sleuth.
Yeah, I love you, Erica. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, the Markle family feud goes on. Why Samantha's new tell-all book is already stirring the pot, and it's not even out yet, and it's a success story you've got to see. How a man went from gang member to a star educator. You do not want to miss this. This is coming up next.
Ladies, what's...
Welcome back to DBL. Has your life ever come full circle? Well, it has for Darian Cockrell, a former gang member turned teacher of the year. Earlier, Al caught up with the educator known as Mr. DC to his students. That's today's DBL Spotlight.
I am so excited to speak with this man, Darian Cockrell. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here on DBL. First of all, thank you for being here. How are you feeling, bruh?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My wife is good. My son is good. I know my students are doing all right, so I'm good.
All right. Well, before we get into your backstory, we need to discuss something, and that's that you just won Teacher of the Year, and I've already heard that you're super humble about that. But as a former teacher myself, that's a big deal. How did that affect you when you first heard the news?
To be completely honest with you, when I first found out that I was Missouri Teacher of the Year, my first feeling was fear, because I just knew how important that was, especially for an African-American man, and I just knew the platform that I am now going to have, and I just want to make sure that I'm responsible with it and I do the right thing.
All right, well, let's back it up and start at the beginning. I want to know why you wanted to be a teacher.
Growing up, I didn't have that, that stable family. I didn't have that structure, and I didn't have that positive male role model in my life. And sometimes I didn't have the most positive female role models. But, the educators in my life who pushed me along the way, who gave me inspiration, who helped me see other things in life other than what was going on in my environment, they helped me realize that, you have a lot of greatness in you, and it's important that you get it out of you.
You were not a huge fan of school growing up, and neither was I. Can you tell us why school wasn't your favorite thing and what kind of changed it around?
I think it was my first night in the boys' home. When I was in 7th grade, halfway through 7th grade, I was taken from my family by the state of Missouri, and I was put into a boys' home. And even on that day, I showed up to school, I had my gang colors on, I had some stuff in my locker that I probably shouldn't have had in my locker. And when that social worker came, and she had a bag of my clothes, and it was my principal, my counselor, and they were like, "You're not going back home." When I got to that boys' home and I was sitting in that room by myself, it allowed me to like really just think like, what is going on with my life? Like this is going to change. I'm not going back to the environment where I was raised my entire life. From here on out, I have to do something different than what I've been seeing my entire life.
Have you had a chance to speak with anybody, any individuals that you attribute to changing the trajectory of your life?
The first person that I called was my middle school counselor because, you know, if it weren't for her, I would not be here today. She's the one who came into my life. She introduced me to sports. She helped me along the way. She was the one who helped me get put into that boys' home instead of going to a military boot camp. She was the first person I called.
If you had one message to give to them right now, what would you tell them? What would you tell our DBL family?
First of all, I just want to say that we're all in this together. Don't hang your heads low. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. As long as you are alive, you are breathing, you have the opportunity to make any positive impact in your own life. No one's going to do it for you. You have to think it. You have to manifest it. And I promise you, as long as you put your heart and soul into it, you can make anything you want to happen in your life. So if there's ever any need, anything that you want, please make sure that you reach out to your teachers because we love you. We want to be there for you guys. And as I said, we're in this together. We're going to get through this together.
As a former teacher, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do every day, and just know that your work every day, you're doing God's work, and we appreciate you, Mr. Cockrell. Keep it going, man.
All right, take care.
Promote.
welcome back to DBL. You guys have a lot to say, so let's get right to it. Marquita Baker says, I was so angry and exhausted yesterday. Stacy says to the DBL hosts, you have done a great job this week expressing how the chaos has affected you. Thank you for being real and open with your audience. We appreciate you, Stacy. Thank you. And thank you guys for being real. Molly says, that poor cop, may he rest in peace. Amen to that, Molly. And then also, we just got this bit of news. So you guys all remember this viral photo, right, of this man. There he is.
He looks like Brett Favre.
In Nancy Pelosi's office. Well, he has been arrested. So that was just reported. Erica, again, we haven't heard too much from you because you weren't here yesterday and you've been dealing with your own grievances. Any final words before we go?
I really don't know what to say at this point. I know that we're all incredibly exhausted. I think that a lot of us need to take a mental health pause, not a break, because we have so much work to do, and that's just it. We have so much work to do.
Yeah, well said. I hope we do it. If you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. Meghan Markle's sister is spilling the tea in a hot new book, why it probably won't ease any tension, and Taraji P. Henson gets real about a lie she once told her son. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam, here with Jeff and Tori. Erica joining us from home. All right, so Meghan Markle's family seems to be turning against her yet again. According to Us Magazine, her father, Thomas Markle, says he is pleased about an upcoming tell-all about the Duchess, written by his other daughter, Samantha. Yep. So the book, called The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister Part 1, are you kidding me?
I know. There's going to be a part 2?
Wow. Is set to be released on January 17th. Samantha has not been shy about speaking out about her half-sister and has given many interviews criticizing Meghan and Harry's decisions to step back from their role as senior royals. Meghan has been estranged from Samantha for years and claims she barely even knows her. Okay, so I got to go right back to you on this one, Erica, just because you've been very forthright about your feelings about Samantha Markle.
She loves her.
First of all, the title of that book, Erica, are you kidding me?
I just want to congratulate Samantha.
Yeah.
Recently went back to Markle. I think that it's wonderful that she finally got what she always wanted, for Daddy to finally give her more attention than Meghan. So kudos.
I think, now this is the thing, I might disagree with Jeff on this. I don't think it's going to be a big hit. I know royals usually get a lot of tabloids and a lot of press. I think, and maybe I'm being optimistic, too many people know Samantha Markle is just a big fat liar, and no one would pay money to read her book. I'm hoping that's what happens and it isn't a bestseller, because I think that she's just been looked through.
I want you to be right, but unfortunately people are so drawn to negativity in today's society. Positivity doesn't interest anybody. They want the dirt. They want, even if they know it's not true, they want to open that tabloid. They want to click on that clickbait, and they want to see it. But what should be, what do you call that little fold that goes in there?
The book cover?
Of course I know what a book cover is. What do you call the fold?
The jacket.
Man, Tori, I thought you love books.
Epilogue, prologue. What are you talking about?
You know when you open a book, right? Yes. And then there's this little thing about the author inside. Isn't
the
there?
about the author.
What? Isn't there a cute little name for it?
The About Me?
About, I thought it was called.
No.
Am I
it's called About the Author.
Just get to the point.
Well, I think it's moot now.
Great word, Jeff.
Good job. Okay, let's just move on to the next story.
My thing I was going to say is it should start with "you're part of the problem." That joke didn't land at all.
Nope.
Because,
No.
Will somebody find out what that is?
Forward.
What?
No, the forward is what someone writes.
We're moving on. We'll get to that. Somebody please let Jeff know what that little part is. Okay. Taraji P. Henson revealed that she lied to her son about her father, or his father's death, during a recent episode of Peace of Mind with Taraji. The actress says she told her son when he was 9 that his father had died in an accident, when in reality he was murdered. She said her son, who is now 26, later found out the truth, which caused a rift in their relationship. Watch.
I was trying to protect him. You know, I didn't want his joy to leave, and it did. Yeah. And I have so much guilt because I wish I had known what I know now, because I would have handled things differently. You know, maybe we wouldn't have struggled so much, and that's why I go so hard for mental health, because we don't know.
Oh, it's heart-wrenching to hear. Yeah, you know, we also really go very hard when in regard to mental health on this show. Have you thought about certain things that you don't want to tell your children you're nodding your head? That
I wanted to go back to you because we were just talking about parenting at the break, right? We keep it real as on air as we do off air, but that had to be hard for Taraji because she knew, I'm guessing at some point, she's like, I have to tell my son the truth, right? But you want to protect your children as much as you can. Part of that is not telling them the full truth. What did we just finish up with? Christmas, right? How do you start your relationship with your children? Okay? So it's sometimes you're doing the best that you think you can to protect your children. Taraji was only doing that. Now she's going through, quote unquote, the repercussions of that. I don't mean to say repercussions because there's nothing wrong with that. I would do the exact same thing to not hurt my children. You do everything you can to not hurt your children.
And I understand that, but if Taraji, and I'm going to ask you too as parents, if Taraji lied at 9, when do you then, eventually, I feel like Taraji should have said, hey, your father was murdered, or else this is a huge shock. Am I right?
Well, listen, I'm with Jeff on this one. I think there is no right way. You can definitely consult, and I personally would want to consult with somebody that would help me with like what's age appropriate. There's a reason why we have psychologists consult with schools and superintendents when it comes to school shooting drills. They say you do not want to scare a kindergartner and say that there's somebody outside with a gun. You tell them that there's a dog outside. This is what we got to do to protect ourselves. There's age appropriate things and protocols that you will do for each age group. So that being said, yes, you're going to have to censor the truth to a degree when it comes to your child's age to protect them because they can't process it. So I think the best, I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. I think me personally would just have to consult with someone that would know more than me, because I wouldn't know what to do.
There are no answers for being a parent. There are no complete answers.
Yeah.
You
beat yourself up regardless, right?
Absolutely.
I beat myself up every day. You know, Sophie's riding bikes in the house, and I'm like,
but she looks so cool.
Jeff told me he lets his kids do it too. So.
Listen, it's for a Christmas present. There's no dirt on it. Go ahead, ride it in the house.
Same. Keeps her busy.
We're gonna get shamed. We're gonna get shamed for that.
I'm good. Okay, so Emma Stone's husband reportedly kept his marriage proposal low key. According to Page 6, Emma's husband proposed to her in the Saturday Night Live office where they met. He's a segment director on that show. Page 6 also revealed that Emma is pregnant with their first child. She and her husband tied the knot in September. Okay, so Eric, I have to ask you, is there too much proposal expectation when it comes to, oh, my man better, or woman, you know, but traditionally speaking, conventionally speaking, my man better make sure that he turns out and has this great proposal for me. What do you think of that expectation?
Well, based on my personal experiences, I have had 2 proposals, and one was very much, it was over the top, and it was all the things, and that marriage didn't work out. I had a very simple proposal this time. My husband proposed to me on a stripped floor because we had a flood, and it was over bacon, and and his,
is that a euphemism,
and our
Erica?
marriage has no. It was literally like I told him that we needed bacon so I could cook breakfast, and he's like, "Here's the bacon. I'll always bring home the bacon." And then he got on one knee, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Wow! Wow!
We do kind of. We do kind of operate under the idea of like let's make it something to look forward to. So everything we do in our relationship isn't all at once, and I think sometimes we put too much emphasis on the engagement and the wedding.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Jeffrey, you went all out. You went all out.
Listen, this story is so 2000 whatever. I'm not going back because every time I bring it up, you guys laugh and you don't want to hear the story.
Yeah.
And then we skip right over.
Fresh face, Jeffy.
No, I lived in California.
Oh, you look good.
Listen, we're never playing this video again, so audience get a good look. Whenever something's good about me, people like want to gloss over it, right? You guys aren't really happy for me.
What are you
You're
talking
mocking.
about?
You're
It's
mocking.
beautiful.
It's stunning.
Dude, stunning.
It's mocking.
You had her favorite musician come out.
See, now you're last time we skipped over that.
And you had it all dressed up like North Carolina with the woods. Isn't that right? Yeah.
I think
Enjoy it, everybody.
beautiful.
Soak it up. I'm taking the rights back after today.
And I didn't want a simple proposal. I'm going to keep it real.
You want to complicate it.
I would have been sad if Mark was just like, hey. Like, I would have been really bummed. So, yeah, his wasn't expensive by any means, but he went into the forest and had a whole setup for me, and I was completely flabbergasted, completely taken aback, and I loved it. Quickly, what about you?
You don't laugh at that?
I think it's beautiful. So is yours.
Yours is beautiful. Why are you
Yours
so
is gorgeous.
sensitive?
That was so mocking and insincere.
Okay,
I can't even.
Very quickly, I'll say Brooks wrote me an anniversary gift, a journal of what we all done during dating, and on the last page it said February 17th, the day I asked Tori to marry me, and I was like, but that's today, and then he got down on one knee. It was really good.
That's a good one. If Erica only knew.
Erica knows. They're mocking.
If Erica only knew some of the things while she was talking about her proposal. Erica, you're going to have to watch this show back.
Bacon.
Watch it back. Freedom Files, wrongfully convicted. A very important episode is coming up next.
Close.
Welcome back to DBL. The road to forgiveness can be a complicated one, but despite spending 20 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit, Keon Sprinkle has found his peace with those who did him wrong. That is today's Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted.
17-year-old Keon Sprinkle is playing video games at home with friends.
My brother came and said, you know, there's a girl at the door. Long and behold, it was a girl that my older cousin was talking to.
His cousin, 25-year-old Clarence Williams, lives in the same housing project as Keon and is having an affair with the woman.
She tells me that her husband is sitting outside of my cousin's door, basically. She didn't want to walk up the street so that he could see her.
Keon tells her that she can stay.
While I'm talking to her, I hear like, boom, 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 boom.
The woman's husband, 29-year-old Charles Taylor, is shot and killed in the street. Boston police zero in on Keon's cousin because of the affair.
I'm looking like, this don't look good, you know, because I watch movies, so in movies, the boyfriend normally, this is how that plays out. One way or another, they come raid my house when they raid his house.
Both men are arrested. Keon is charged with first-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon. Police say Keon shot and killed Charles after his cousin told him to do it. There is no forensic evidence tying Keon or his cousin to the crime, and witnesses side with Keon.
The two eyewitnesses came and they're like, nah, it ain't him.
But then after suspected police pressure, statements start to change.
The lady who was in my house, she gave them like 5 different police statements.
Jurors agree that Keon is not the actual shooter, but they don't believe his cousin is the shooter either.
I got tried as the trigger man. The prosecutor's closing arguments was that I am the trigger man, but I got found guilty of not being a trigger man, being a person with a trigger man that we don't even know who the is the trigger man.
Jurors convict Keon of joint venture and convict his cousin as an accessory. Both men receive life sentences. Keon asks his grandma to bring him law books, and he begins to study his case.
I always have faith, right? Because hope is not really believing, but just wanting something to happen. Faith is really believing.
While in prison, Keon's cousin tells him that the true killer confessed to him before their trial, but he didn't say anything because he didn't want to snitch, and he assumed the truth would come to light on its own.
When I first went to prison, our relationship sucked. I didn't like him, and I was more angry.
Then, in the late 2000s, Keon's lawyer finds evidence of police misconduct, and multiple witnesses recant their stories. On top of that, new details come to light regarding a different accomplice and shooter. On February 6th, 2020, after 20 long years, Keon and his cousin are released from prison. In May of 2020, the DA dismisses the charges against both men.
Keon, welcome to DBL. So next month will mark 1 year since your release. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Keon, what was it like to get out and then get out in the midst of COVID, what we're all going through right now? Was that even crazier than COVID itself?
What I experience is for a lot of other people that I know that got out of prison, when we come home, what ends up happening is we're used to seeing a certain amount of people at one time, and we're trained from being in there, you know, watch people's eyes, their mouth, their hands. And, you know, being out here, your brain still focuses on that. So when you see clusters of people, like when I first came home, I had so much anxiety all the time because I couldn't pay attention to the landscape of things. So I really didn't want to be out as much. When COVID hit, it stopped people from being able to be out. But when I was seeing people with smaller doses. So little over little over little, I was able to like be in social settings and feel comfortable.
You were the youngest inmate at your prison. How did that impact your experience there?
It was a lot because I was the only teenager there. So with that being said, I think certain things that I may have been tested on, I wasn't, because I was like the baby of the prison. So it was like, I'm everybody's either little cousin, little brother, this, and that.
Keon, this might be a weird question because I know you're innocent, but looking back, if you could tell your teen self anything, what would that be?
Take advantage of your time that you have behind the wall even more than you did, because there's certain things that I wanted to learn, couple of different languages. I did a little bit of Arabic, Spanish, of course. Try to take the time to kind of master these things because they'd be more useful for you whenever you get released.
Just listening to you, Keon, in your answers alone, you're definitely a half glass full type of person.
Speaking exactly about that, you know, your positivity, do you still have a relationship today with your cousin?
Coming home, I was faced with, do I reconcile and make sure that we are close so that our families get together, or do I hold on to the anger, right? So what I've learned is forgiveness is for yourself and not really for the other person. Because when you forgive and like really forgive, what ends up happening is you don't keep going through that mentally over and over and over again. You kind of like let it go. So it's kind of like, I don't believe in people that say, well, I forgive, but I don't forget. Because if you forgive and you don't forget, as soon as something happens, your brain goes back to that, and then the argument starts because you bring it up. So I took that approach, and you know, it's beneficial for me, it's beneficial for him, and for our whole family.
I have to be real with you though, Keon. For me personally, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, and I can't even imagine going through everything you went through, I do like to hear somebody take accountability. So I have to be 100 with you. Would an apology change anything between you two? Would it help your relationship grow more? Would it give you even an ounce more of peace that, in my opinion, that you deserve, considering that he knew before the trial?
He did apologize.
Okay.
You know, from the state, here's my thing, right? It really doesn't mean nothing. Like, sorry's not feeding children. Sorry's not doing any of that. So just keep the sorry. It's okay, because I'm gonna flourish regardless, right? But keep the memory to try to stop yourself from repeating your behavior, and that'll work better for me.
You are truly a remarkable and beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. To those of you out there looking to learn more, please follow Keon on Instagram or Facebook. You can learn a lot from him. We'll be right back.
All right.
DBL, Sandra Lee, better known as Dr. Pimple Popper. She's taken on new cases and telling us what really grosses her out.
Raw chicken under your fingers, toenails.
That's Monday on DBL.
Welcome back to DBL. People love bumper stickers, but you might want to think twice about them. We're telling you why in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. So bumper stickers could inadvertently tell criminals all about you. Sports team stickers might reveal that you're not home at night because you're at a game. Stickers can also reveal personal information like how many kids you have, even their names. We've all seen those, right? And then there are those baby on board stickers. They signal to criminals that your hands could be full at your destination, making you an easy target. So when it comes to driving, for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote. We'll be right back.
Promotional consent.
Here at DBL always talk about how we're all a big family, and today we are taking a moment to remember Rick Reel, the father of our cameraman who we love and adore. Well, he passed away yesterday and his brother Rick, who passed in April. They both died of natural causes unrelated to COVID. And let me tell you, Rob, our cameraman, is an integral part of this show, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family right now. Their loving spirits will be dearly missed. And Rob, we absolutely love and adore you. Rob is right now holding the camera. We can't show his face, but we know you're going through a lot right now, Rob. And let me tell you, you've been a rock to all of us. I hope you allow us to be a rock to you.
We love you.
We love you.
All right, we'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
The first full week of 2021 is one for the books. From chaos at the U.S. Capitol to still being in the middle of a pandemic. Where do we go from here as a country? Lawmakers are now calling for use of the 25th Amendment. Will President Trump be removed from office early? In today's Freedom Files Wrongfully Convicted, the story of a man who spent 20 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. How he's moving on towards a new life after his time behind bars.
Keep the sorry. It's okay, because I'm gonna flourish regardless.
And cue the royal drama. Meghan Markle's sister is releasing a tell-all memoir. Will the book taint Meghan's clean image?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Wow, Rob, our cameraman, also playing stage manager.
Bravo! We even got a little of the camera in the shot. I like that.
Unbelievable. Okay, so welcome to DBL. It is Friday, January 8th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Tori. Erica joining us from home. So great to see your face, Erica. Welcome back. So here we are at the end of the first full week of 2021, and What a week it's been. There's a lot of continuing fallout from the riot at the Capitol. Well, we're now learning that a Capitol police officer has died from his injuries after clashing with the mob. That is heartbreaking. The president gave a speech and promised an orderly transition to the new administration, but is facing a ton of pressure to resign. Now, several members of his cabinet have resigned, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. And let's not forget, 2 new members of Congress were elected this week from Georgia. Congratulations to them, but you're either very happy about that or you're not. That's our country right now. So after all that's happened, and I know most of you watching are exhausted by the tension right now. We are too. But in order for us to not repeat what happened yesterday, we need to talk about it. So the question is, how did this week make you feel? Write in. What did you take from it? Tori, I want to start with you. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. I think some people took offense a little bit, which is fair from my take yesterday on sort of the optimism. And I think that's really okay. And I'm glad to hear that feedback. I do want to say that this week showed me, and I think showed the world, we have a very different approach as to what color of the skin is protesting or rioting. Because I want to show you, I'm sure you all have seen this, Joe Biden even mentioned it. On the left is the Lincoln Memorial, and that is when the BLM, not the Capitol, is the BLM protesters, they were getting prepared, they were all suited up in camo, ready to go. And what I can't get over this week, I simply can't, is how the mainly white rioters were allowed to walk in. There was no rubber bullets. There was no tear gas. There was nothing. They were there for hours. I went to make coffee. I came back. They're still there. If black people had done it, I think we would have seen a different thing. And I cannot go another week without saying that because I think it needs to be made clear. And what about you?
Listen, I think that's a really important thing to say because I think when you say it, you acknowledge it. And when you acknowledge it, then you can advocate for change.
Right.
So, there's many images and moments that are seared into my brain. And one being exactly what you said, the difference in policing and us calling that what it is so we can continue to advocate for reform and justice and equality for all, regardless the color of your skin. So I think that's a really important takeaway so we can handle it, right? And I think also something that I learned, and it's hard for me to even discuss this on the show because it is so grotesque, but many individuals wore symbols of hate, right? We saw the Confederate flag. We saw a lot of T-shirts with 6MWE. And I'm not saying this to fan the flames. I'm not saying this to add fuel to the fire. I'm saying this so we can address what it is. I had to look it up, as many people on the internet did. It became a trending hashtag. It means 6 million wasn't enough. And it makes my stomach sick saying that out loud. And that's, of course, in regard to the Holocaust. Now, again, I'm saying that so we can talk about it. So we always talk about uncomfortable things on this show. And if we face it, if we talk about it, we can advocate against it. And then to leave things on a positive note, just finally some fashion of unity between Republican and Democratic senators. I know many of our viewers, many of Americans watching right now are sick and tired of our Congress not working for us, only thinking about themselves, never reaching across the aisle like they used to do a decade ago. So I'm hoping after yesterday's events, I'm hoping that we can see in 2021 more reaching across the aisle and more representation of the people, the constituents. So that's what I took from it. What about you, Jeff?
I think what you guys said was very poignant. I agree with everything you said, even though at one point I was getting something out of my eye and it cut to me on the camera, so I was paying attention.
I thought you were crying. No, I'm good.
No, well, yeah, that's what I should have said. I was crying. But listen, I don't want to repeat what you guys just said. I thought it was great. I hate to be the continual optimist on this show, but what happened this week was wrong. I want to reiterate that. I'm not insensitive to what's happening in our government with COVID, with all that stuff, but I have to focus on what I can control right now because I've noticed I've always tried to pick up something after the new year and what can I do better in this new year, right? And I know I'm speaking in broad terms of the whole year instead of the week, but I'm a better person to the world if I'm a better me, right? If I could control me and control the things in my life that I can and make me the best me I can, the more I could reach out across the aisle, so to speak, to my friends, to my women, to Erica, to people of color, to people of the LGBT community, to anybody. The better I am, the better I will be with you, the more I could help you.
The more present you'll be even.
Exactly. Yeah. So the more that, I don't mean to be selfish in that aspect because what you guys just said is very important, but I think you need to take care of yourself first before you help other people. And I want to go to Erica because Erica, first of all, again, sorry for everything you're going through, but we haven't heard from you this week and it's good for you to be back.
Well, no, thank you. I appreciate everything that you guys are saying. One note that I'll make to all of you is stop being so apologetic about what you're saying. These are things that we need to be very steadfast and clear about what is going on. Sam, you mentioned fanning the flames. You aren't fanning flames when you're just speaking the truth. I often get people who are my, quote, adversaries, who you, just to be very clear, you can only be an adversary if you have someone to fight with, and I'm not fighting with you, so you can fight the air. But let me be very clear with you. I am not making things a racial issue. Me as a black woman, I do not have the power to make it a race issue. I'm speaking on an issue that is about race. What we saw is white supremacy and the idea that white supremacy was being compromised, or that there is power that needs to be perceived to have for white people. If you were someone who decided that you were going to support Trump and it was based on your wallet, it was based on your industry, now is the time to speak up, because we need to know, like, who is with them and who is with the people. I mean, it's a very simple thing. And when I think about what happened on Wednesday, I also think about what happened on Wednesday in downtown LA with a 25-year-old black woman named Berlinda Nito. This is a story that's been picked up all over, mainly on social media, because we have groups of people who really want to see justice being served, although it is not their responsibility to go after the, quote, bad guys. This young woman was walking down the street in downtown LA, and she was accosted by a group of Trump supporters who were demonstrating, and she had her wig torn off, she was beaten, and then she was saved by a Good Samaritan. And just to be clear, there is a photo that is going around of a larger white male with a red beard, and people are saying that he was assaulting her. According to the victim, as well as the police, he was actually the Good Samaritan who pulled her from the crowd and whispered in her ear to just come with him because they were trying to kill her. This is the same place that just months ago people were marching in the streets saying that Black Lives Matter. What I picked up from this week is that we have so much work to do, and it's not about lip service. It's about actually putting your actions and your steps where your mouth is. It's about actually doing the work. So, Jeff, I'm not mad at the idea that you want to look within yourself and figure out how you can do better. I think that this is a great time for us all to reflect and look within ourselves and decide that if we don't want to be the same person next year that we are today, we need to make those changes. And I think we can all benefit from that.
Well said. Well said. That's why we have these conversations on the show. We don't want to ever gloss over anything or brush anything under the rug. We want to face it, talk about it, and advocate and evoke for change with actionable steps. To Erica's point, 2021 can be not only a new awakening, but hopefully a new normal with equity and equality. So thank you for all your words. And DBL Nation, please keep writing in. At some point, we'll definitely be reading your comments because you guys have a lot to say. We appreciate you. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, meet a young man who served almost 2 decades for a murder he did not commit. Will an apology do any good now? That's later in Freedom Files, wrongfully convicted, plus the road to redemption for a former gang member who was just named Teacher of the Year. He tells our own Al Jackson about his inspirational journey. And could President Trump be removed via the 25th Amendment? How realistic is it with less than 2 weeks until he's out anyways, as well as a lot of Generation Z? They're the ones that have located a lot of those protesters / rioters. And guess what? Now they're facing the consequences because of those internet sleuths. Stay tuned. Welcome back to DBL. There are a lot of people demanding that the president be removed from office for his role in the Capitol riots. Two options are on the table right now, and a lot of you have a lot to say about it: impeachment or the 25th Amendment. If he were to be removed by the 25th Amendment, it would require Vice President Mike Pence and a majority of the president's cabinet secretaries to make it happen. And there's word that Pence is not on board with that idea. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are also considering impeachment. So here's the thing. If they go that route, and if Trump is convicted this time, then he could be banned from ever being president again, okay? I know you guys have a lot of questions in regard to this, especially what's the difference between 25th Amendment and impeachment? What do you think should happen? Tori, what will happen? And briefly, the difference between the two.
So one is the 25th Amendment is there. By the way, it's never been invoked, ever. This has never been done. So that would be Vice President saying, I think the president is unfit, and a majority, 8 people of the cabinet agree. It's a process that's never been tried, and people want it tried now. I think Pence will not go for it. And I also think several of the secretaries have resigned because they don't want to be part of this vote, which is part of it. Number 2, impeachment. You're going to see an impeachment article being brought to the House because we have the House. And at some point, it'll go to the Senate. If they convict, it'll happen. But what I have to say very clearly is this action can't go without consequence. If it does, we are now allowing a breach of the Capitol to be okay and part of the constitutional process. If there's no censure, which is like a slap on the wrist, an impeachment, or at least an effort for the 25th Amendment, what are we telling the world? That the Law and Order Party doesn't want to incriminate real criminals? How does that work?
Especially because, Erica, jump in here, we see already many of the rioters arrested, as they should be, because of Generation Z. These are young adults who are sitting at home looking at photographs, doing their own investigative work, and forwarding it to police departments, FBI, etc. And now those individuals are facing the consequences. They're being held accountable. They're going to jail. They're going to pay with time. So why is this not applied to other people in positions of power, in your opinion?
You know, honestly, I think that so many people have been complicit in so many things at this point that there is a fear factor there. And I mean, I don't find that to be shocking. Like, if one person goes down, who are they going to take with them? I've said and speculated, in my opinion, for a very long time, what is the dirt that some people is on some of these people? Because I cannot even justify in my wildest dreams the actions that some of our leadership has taken. Like, it seems very self-destructive. So I only imagine that there's something that's being hidden, in my opinion.
Erica.
It's true. And I just want to say again, you cannot get away with inciting violence that reacted in actual violence and be the leader and get away with it. I am not okay with that, and I think a lot of the country is not okay with that. So whatever the consequences may be, it can't be unchecked. Right. It can't.
And I only chuckled because when Erica says, in my opinion, I just love it because she's
a sleuth.
Yeah, I love you, Erica. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, the Markle family feud goes on. Why Samantha's new tell-all book is already stirring the pot, and it's not even out yet, and it's a success story you've got to see. How a man went from gang member to a star educator. You do not want to miss this. This is coming up next.
Lady.
Welcome back to DBL. Has your life ever come full circle? Well, it has for Darian Cockrell, a former gang member turned Teacher of the Year. Earlier, Al caught up with the educator known as Mr. DC to his students. That's today's DBL Spotlight.
I am so excited to speak with this man, Darian Cockrell. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here on DBL. First of all, thank you for being here. How are you feeling, bruh?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My wife is good. My son is good. I know my students are doing all right, so I'm good.
All right. Well, before we get into your backstory, we need to discuss something, and that's that you just won Teacher of the Year, and I've already heard that you're super humble about that. But as a former teacher myself, that's a big deal. How did that affect you when you first heard the news?
To be completely honest with you, when I first found out that I was Missouri Teacher of the Year, my first feeling was fear, because I just knew how important that was, especially for an African-American man, and I just knew the platform that I am now going to have, and I just want to make sure that I'm responsible with it and I do the right thing.
All right, well, let's back it up and start at the beginning. I want to know why you wanted to be a teacher.
Growing up, I didn't have that, that stable family. I didn't have that structure, and I didn't have that positive male role model in my life. And sometimes I didn't have the most positive female role models. But, the educators in my life who pushed me along the way, who gave me inspiration, who helped me see other things in life other than what was going on in my environment, they helped me realize that, you have a lot of greatness in you, and it's important that you get it out of you.
You were not a huge fan of school growing up, and neither was I. Can you tell us why school wasn't your favorite thing and what kind of changed it around?
I think it was my first night in the boys' home. When I was in 7th grade, halfway through 7th grade, I was taken from my family by the state of Missouri, and I was put into a boys' home. And even on that day, I showed up to school, I had my gang colors on, I had some stuff in my locker that I probably shouldn't have had in my locker. And when that social worker came, and she had a bag of my clothes, and it was my principal, my counselor, and they were like, "You're not going back home." When I got to that boys' home and I was sitting in that room by myself, it allowed me to really just think and what is going on with my life? This is going to change. I'm not going back to the environment where I was raised my entire life. From here on out, I have to do something different than what I've been seeing my entire life.
Have you had a chance to speak with anybody, any individuals that you attribute to changing the trajectory of your life?
The first person that I called was my middle school counselor, because, if it weren't for her, I would not be here today. She's the one who came into my life. She introduced me to sports. She helped me along the way. She was the one who helped me get put into that boys' home instead of going to a military boot camp. She was the first person I called.
If you had one message to give to them right now, what would you tell them? What would you tell our DBL family?
First of all, I just want to say that we're all in this together. Don't hang your heads low. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. As long as you are alive, you are breathing, you have the opportunity to make any positive impact in your own life. No one's going to do it for you. You have to think it. You have to manifest it. And I promise you, as long as you put your heart and soul into it, you can make anything you want to happen in your life. So if there's ever any need, anything that you want, please make sure that you reach out to your teachers, because we love you. We want to be there for you guys. And as I said, we're in this together. We're going to get through this together.
As a former teacher, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do every day, and just know that your work every day, you're doing God's work, and we appreciate you, Mr. Cockrell. Keep it going, man.
All right, take care.
Welcome back to DBL. You guys have a lot to say, so let's get right to it. Marquita Baker says, I was so angry and exhausted yesterday. Stacy says to the DBL hosts, you have done a great job this week expressing how the chaos has affected you. Thank you for being real and open with your audience. We appreciate you, Stacy. Thank you. And thank you guys for being real. Molly says that poor cop, may he rest in peace. Amen to that. Amen to that, Molly. And then also, we just got this bit of news. So you guys all remember this viral photo, right, of this man. There he is.
He looks like Brett Favre.
In Nancy Pelosi's office. Well, he has been arrested. So that was just reported. Erica, again, we haven't heard too much from you because you weren't here yesterday and you've been dealing with your own grievances. Any final words before we go?
I really don't know what to say at this point. I know that we're all incredibly exhausted. I think that a lot of us need to take a mental health pause, not a break, because we have so much work to do, and that's just it. We have so much work to do.
Yeah, well said. I hope we do it. If you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. Meghan Markle's sister is spilling the tea in a hot new book. Why it probably won't ease any tension, and Taraji P. Henson gets real about a lie she once told her son. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Tori. Erica joining us from home. All right, so Meghan Markle's family seems to be turning against her yet again. According to Us Magazine, her father, Thomas Markle, says he is pleased about an upcoming tell-all about the Duchess, written by his other daughter, Samantha. Yep. So the book, called The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister Part 1, are you kidding me?
I know. That means there's going to be a part 2?
Wow. Is set to be released on January 17th. Samantha has not been shy about speaking out about her half-sister and has given many interviews criticizing Meghan and Harry's decisions to step back from their role as senior royals. Meghan has been estranged from Samantha for years and claims she barely even knows her. Okay, so I got to go right back to you on this one, Erica, just because you've been very forthright about your feelings about Samantha Markle.
She loves her.
First of all, the title of that book, Erica, are you kidding me?
I just want to congratulate Samantha.
Yeah.
Recently went back to Markle. I think that it's wonderful that she finally got what she always wanted, for Daddy to finally give her more attention than Meghan. So kudos.
I think, now this is the thing, I might disagree with Jeff on this. I don't think it's going to be a big hit. I know royals usually get a lot of tabloids and a lot of press. I think, and maybe I'm being optimistic, too many people know Samantha Markle is just a big fat liar, and no one would pay money to read her book. I'm hoping that's what happens and it isn't a bestseller, because I think that she's just been looked through.
I want you to be right, but unfortunately people are so drawn to negativity in today's society. Positivity doesn't interest anybody. They want the dirt. They want, even if they know it's not true, they want to open that tabloid. They want to click on that clickbait, and they want to see it. But what do you call that little fold that goes in there?
The book cover?
Of course I know what a book cover is. What do you call the fold?
The jacket.
Man, Tori, I thought you would love books.
Epilogue, prologue, what are you talking about?
You know when you open a book, right?
Yes.
And then there's this little thing about the author inside.
About the author.
What? Isn't there a cute little name for it?
The About Me?
I thought it was called.
No.
Am I
It's called About the Author.
Just get to the point.
I think it's moot now.
Great word, Jeff.
Good job. Okay, let's just move on to the next story.
My thing I was going to say is it should start with "you're part of the problem." That joke didn't land at all.
Nope.
Because,
No.
Will somebody find out what that is?
Forward.
What?
No, the forward is what someone writes.
We're moving on. We'll get to that. Somebody please let Jeff know what that little part is. Okay. Taraji P. Henson revealed that she lied to her son about his father's death. During a recent episode of Peace of Mind with Taraji, the actress says she told her son when he was 9 that his father had died in an accident, when in reality he was murdered. She said her son, who is now 26, later found out the truth, which caused a rift in their relationship. Watch.
I was trying to protect him. You know, I didn't want his joy to leave, and it did. Yeah. And I have so much guilt because I wish I had known what I know now, because I would have handled things differently. You know, maybe we wouldn't have struggled so much, and that's why I go so hard for mental health, because we don't know.
Oh, that's heart-wrenching to hear. Yeah, you know, we also really go very hard in regard to mental health on this show. Have you thought about certain things that you don't want to tell your children you're nodding your head?
I wanted to go back to you because we were just talking about parenting at the break, right? We keep it real as on air as we do off air, but that had to be hard for Taraji because she knew, I'm guessing at some point, she's like, I have to tell my son the truth, right? But you want to protect your children as much as you can. Part of that is not telling them the full truth. What did we just finish up with? Christmas, right? How do you start your relationship with your children? Okay? So sometimes you're doing the best that you think you can to protect your children. Taraji was only doing that. Now she's going through, quote unquote, the repercussions of that. I don't mean to say repercussions because there's nothing wrong with that. I would do the exact same thing to not hurt my children. You do everything you can to not hurt your children.
And I understand that, but if Taraji, and I'm going to ask you too as parents, if Taraji lied at 9, when do you then, eventually I feel like Taraji should have said, hey, your father was murdered, or else this is a huge shock. Am I right?
Well, listen, I'm with Jeff on this one. I think there is no right way. You can definitely consult, and I personally would want to consult with somebody that would help me with like what's age appropriate. There's a reason why we have psychologists consult with schools and superintendents when it comes to school shooting drills. They say you do not want to scare a kindergartner and say that there's somebody outside with a gun. You tell them that there's a dog outside. This is what we got to do to protect ourselves. There's age appropriate things and protocols that you will do for each age group. So that being said, yes, you're going to have to censor the truth to a degree when it comes to your child's age to protect them because they can't process it. So I think the best, I don't think there is a right or wrong answer.
Right.
I think me personally would just have to consult with someone that would know more than me, because I wouldn't know what to do.
There are no answers for being a parent. There are no complete answers.
Yeah.
You
beat yourself up regardless, right?
Absolutely.
I beat myself up every day. You know, Sophie's riding bikes in the house, and I'm like,
but she looks so cool.
And Jeff told me he lets his kids do it too. So.
Listen, it's for a Christmas present. There's no dirt on it. Go ahead, ride it in the house.
Same. Keeps her busy.
We're gonna get shamed. We're gonna get shamed for that.
I'm good. Okay, so Emma Stone's husband reportedly kept his marriage proposal low key. According to Page 6, Emma's husband proposed to her in the Saturday Night Live office where they met. He's a segment director on that show. Page 6 also revealed that Emma is pregnant with their first child. She and her husband tied the knot in September. Okay, so Eric, I have to ask you, is there too much proposal expectation when it comes to, oh, my man better, or woman, you know, but traditionally speaking, conventionally speaking, my man better make sure that he turns out and has this great proposal for me? What do you think of that expectation?
Well, based on my personal experiences, I have had 2 proposals, and one was very much, it was over the top, and it was all the things, and that marriage didn't work out. I had a very simple proposal this time. My husband proposed to me on a stripped floor because we had a flood, and it was over bacon, and and his,
is that a euphemism,
and our
America?
marriage has no. It was literally like I told him that we needed bacon so I could cook breakfast, and he's like, "Here's the bacon. I'll always bring home the bacon." And then he got on one knee, and I was like, "What is happening?" Wow. We do kind of. We do kind of operate under the idea of like let's make it something to look forward to. So everything we do in our relationship isn't all at once, and I think sometimes we put too much emphasis on the engagement and the wedding.
I agree.
Jeffrey, you went all out. You went all out.
Listen, this story is so 2000 whatever. I'm not going back because every time I bring it up, you guys laugh and you don't want to hear the story. And then we skip right over it.
Fresh face, Jeffy.
No, I lived in California.
Oh, you look good.
Listen, we're never playing this video again, so audience get a good look. Whenever something's good about me, people like want to gloss over it, right? You guys aren't really happy for me.
What are you
You're
talking
mocking.
about?
You're
It's
mocking.
beautiful.
It's stunning.
Dude, stunning.
It's mocking.
You had her favorite musician come out.
See, now you're last time we skipped over that.
And you had it all dressed up like North Carolina with the woods. Isn't that right? Yeah.
I think
Enjoy it, everybody.
beautiful.
Soak it up. I'm taking the rights back after today.
And I didn't want a simple proposal. I'm going to keep it real.
You want to complicate it.
I would have been sad if Mark was just like, hey. Like, I would have been really bummed. So, yeah, his wasn't expensive by any means, but he went into the forest and had a whole setup for me, and I was completely flabbergasted, completely taken aback, and I loved it. Quickly, what about you?
You don't laugh at that?
I think this is beautiful. So is yours.
Yours is beautiful. Why
Yours
are you
is
so
gorgeous.
sensitive?
That was so mocking and insincere.
Okay,
I can't even.
Very quickly, I'll say Brooks wrote me an anniversary gift, a journal of what we all done during dating, and on the last page it said February 17th, the day I asked Tori to marry me, and I was like, but that's today, and then he got down on one knee. It was really good.
That's a good one. If Erica only knew.
Erica knows. They're mocking.
If Erica only knew some of the things while she was talking about her proposal. Erica, you're going to have to watch this show back.
Bacon.
Watch it back. Freedom Files, wrongfully convicted. A very important episode is coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Welcome back to DBL. The road to forgiveness can be a complicated one, but despite spending 20 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit, Keon Sprinkle has found his peace with those who did him wrong. That is today's Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted.
17-year-old Keon Sprinkle is playing video games at home with friends.
My brother came and said, you know, there's a girl at the door. Long and behold, it was a girl that my older cousin was talking to.
His cousin, 25-year-old Clarence Williams, lives in the same housing project as Keon and is having an affair with the woman.
She tells me that her husband is sitting outside of my cousin's door, basically. She didn't want to walk up the street so that he could see her.
Keon tells her that she can stay.
While I'm talking to her, I hear like, boom, 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 boom.
The woman's husband, 29-year-old Charles Taylor, is shot and killed in the street. Boston police zero in on Keon's cousin because of the affair.
I'm looking like, this don't look good, you know, because I watch movies, so in movies, the boyfriend normally, this is how that plays out. One way or another, they come raid my house when they raid his house.
Both men are arrested. Keon is charged with first-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon. Police say Keon shot and killed Charles after his cousin told him to do it. There is no forensic evidence tying Keon or his cousin to the crime, and witnesses side with Keon.
The two eyewitnesses came and they're like, nah, it ain't him.
But then after suspected police pressure, statements start to change.
The lady who was in my house, she gave them like 5 different police statements.
Jurors agree that Keon is not the actual shooter, but they don't believe his cousin is the shooter either.
I got tried as the trigger man. The prosecutor's closing arguments was that I am the trigger man, but I got found guilty of not being a trigger man, being a person with a trigger man that we don't even know who the f is the trigger man.
Jurors convict Keon of joint venture and convict his cousin as an accessory. Both men receive life sentences. Keon asks his grandma to bring him law books, and he begins to study his case.
I always have faith, right? Because hope is not really believing, but just wanting something to happen. Faith is really believing.
While in prison, Keon's cousin tells him that the true killer confessed to him before their trial, but he didn't say anything because he didn't want to snitch, and he assumed the truth would come to light on its own.
When I first went to prison, our relationship sucked. I didn't like him, and I was more angry.
Then, in the late 2000s, Keon's lawyer finds evidence of police misconduct, and multiple witnesses recant their stories. On top of that, new details come to light regarding a different accomplice and shooter. On February 6th, 2020, after 20 long years, Keon and his cousin are released from prison. In May of 2020, the DA dismisses the charges against both men.
Keon, welcome to DBL. So next month will mark 1 year since your release. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Keon, what was it like to get out and then get out in the midst of COVID, what we're all going through right now? Was that even crazier than COVID itself?
What I experience is for a lot of other people that I know that got out of prison, when we come home, what ends up happening is we're used to seeing a certain amount of people at one time, and we're trained from being in there, you know, watch people's eyes, their mouth, their hands. And, you know, being out here, your brain still focuses on that. So when you see clusters of people, like when I first came home, I had so much anxiety all the time because I couldn't pay attention to the landscape of things. So I really didn't want to be out as much. When COVID hit, it stopped people from being able to be out. But when I was seeing people with smaller doses. So little over little over little, I was able to like be in social settings and feel comfortable.
You were the youngest inmate at your prison. How did that impact your experience there?
It was a lot because I was the only teenager there. So with that being said, I think certain things that I may have been tested on, I wasn't, because I was like the baby of the prison. So it was like, I'm everybody's either little cousin, little brother, this and that.
Keon, this might be a weird question because I know you're innocent, but looking back, if you could tell your teen self anything, what would that be?
Take advantage of your time that you have behind the wall even more than you did, because there's certain things that I wanted to learn, couple of different languages. I did a little bit of Arabic, Spanish, of course. Try to take the time to kind of master these things because they'd be more useful for you whenever you get released.
Just listening to you, Keon, in your answers alone, you're definitely a half glass full type of person.
Speaking exactly about that, you know, your positivity, do you still have a relationship today with your cousin?
Coming home, I was faced with, do I reconcile and make sure that we are close so that our families get together, or do I hold on to the anger, right? So what I've learned is forgiveness is for yourself and not really for the other person. Because when you forgive and like really forgive, what ends up happening is you don't keep going through that mentally over and over and over again. You kind of like let it go. So it's kind of like, I don't believe in people that say, well, I forgive, but I don't forget. Because if you forgive and you don't forget, as soon as something happens, your brain goes back to that, and then the argument starts because you bring it up. So I took that approach, and you know, it's beneficial for me, it's beneficial for him, and for our whole family.
I have to be real with you though, Keon. For me personally, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, and I can't even imagine going through everything you went through, I do like to hear somebody take accountability. So I have to be 100 with you. Would an apology change anything between you two? Would it help your relationship grow more? Would it give you even an ounce more of peace that, in my opinion, that you deserve, considering that he knew before the trial?
He did apologize.
Okay.
You know, from the state, here's my thing, right? It really doesn't mean nothing. Like, sorry's not feeding children. Sorry's not doing any of that. So just keep the sorry. It's okay, because I'm gonna flourish regardless, right? But keep the memory to try to stop yourself from repeating your behavior, and that'll work better for me.
You are truly a remarkable and beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. To those of you out there looking to learn more, please follow Keon on Instagram or Facebook. You can learn a lot from him. We'll be right back.
All right, thank you.
Monday on DBL, Sandra Lee, better known as Dr. Pimple Popper. She's taken on new cases and telling us what really grosses her out.
Raw chicken under your fingers, toenails.
That's Monday on DBL.
Welcome back to DBL. People love bumper stickers, but you might want to think twice about them. We're telling you why in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. So bumper stickers could inadvertently tell criminals all about you. Sports team stickers might reveal that you're not home at night because you're at a game. Stickers can also reveal personal information like how many kids you have, even their names. We've all seen those, right? And then there are those baby on board stickers. They signal to criminals that your hands could be full at your destination, making you an easy target. So when it comes to driving, for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote. We'll be right back.
Promotion.
Welcome back to DBL. We here at DBL always talk about how we're all one big family. And today we are taking a moment to remember Rick Reel, the father of our cameraman who we love and adore. Well, he passed away yesterday. And his brother Rick, who passed in April. They both died of natural causes unrelated to COVID. And let me tell you, Rob, our cameraman, is an integral part of this show. And our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family right now. Their loving spirits will be dearly missed. And Rob, we absolutely love and adore you. Rob is right now holding the camera. We can't show his face, but we know you're going through a lot right now, Rob. And let me tell you, you've been a rock to all of us. I hope you allow us to be a rock to you.
We love you.
We love you. All right, we'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
The first full week of 2021 is one for the books. From chaos at the U.S. Capitol to still being in the middle of a pandemic. Where do we go from here as a country? Lawmakers are now calling for use of the 25th Amendment. Will President Trump be removed from office early? In today's Freedom Files Wrongfully Convicted, the story of a man who spent 20 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. How he's moving on towards a new life after his time behind bars.
Keep the sorry. It's okay, because I'm gonna flourish regardless.
And cue the royal drama. Meghan Markle's sister is releasing a tell-all memoir. Will the book taint Meghan's clean image?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2,
wow, Rob, our cameraman, also playing stage manager.
Bravo! You even got a little of the camera in the shot. I like that.
Unbelievable. Okay, so welcome to DBL. It is Friday, January 8th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Tori. Erica joining us from home. So great to see your face, Erica. Welcome back. So here we are at the end of the first full week of 2021, and what a week it's been. There's a lot of continuing fallout from the riot at the Capitol. Well, we're now learning that a Capitol police officer has died from his injuries after clashing with the mob. That is heartbreaking. The president gave a speech and promised an orderly transition to the new administration, but is facing a ton of pressure to resign. Now, several members of his cabinet have resigned, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. And let's not forget, 2 new members of Congress were elected this week from Georgia. Congratulations to them, but you're either very happy about that or you're not. That's our country right now. So after all that's happened, and I know most of you watching are exhausted by the tension right now. We are too. But in order for us to not repeat what happened yesterday, we need to talk about it. So the question is, how did this week make you feel? Write in. What did you take from it? Tori, I want to start with you. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. I think some people took offense a little bit, which is fair from my take yesterday on sort of the optimism. And I think that's really okay. And I'm glad to hear that feedback. I do want to say that this week showed me, and I think showed the world, we have a very different approach as to what color of the skin is protesting or rioting. Because I want to show you, I'm sure you all have seen this, Joe Biden even mentioned it. On the left is the Lincoln Memorial, and that is when the BLM, not the Capitol, is the BLM protesters, they were getting prepared, they were all suited up in camo, ready to go. And what I can't get over this week, I simply can't, is how the mainly white rioters were allowed to walk in. There was no rubber bullets. There was no tear gas. There was nothing. They were there for hours. I went to make coffee. I came back. They're still there. If black people had done it, I think we would have seen a different thing. And I cannot go another week without saying that because I think it needs to be made clear.
And
what about you?
Listen, I think that's a really important thing to say because I think when you say it, you acknowledge it. And when you acknowledge it, then you can advocate for change.
Right.
So, there's many images and moments that are seared into my brain. And one being exactly what you said, the difference in policing and us calling that what it is so we can continue to advocate for reform and justice and equality for all, regardless the color of your skin. So I think that's a really important takeaway so we can handle it, right? And I think also something that I learned, and it's hard for me to even discuss this on the show because it is so grotesque, but many individuals wore symbols of hate, right? We saw the Confederate flag. We saw a lot of T-shirts with 6MWE. And I'm not saying this to fan the flames. I'm not saying this to add fuel to the fire. I'm saying this so we can address what it is. I had to look it up, as many people on the internet did. It became a trending hashtag. It means 6 million wasn't enough. And it makes my stomach sick saying that out loud. And that's, of course, in regard to the Holocaust. Now, again, I'm saying that so we can talk about it. So we always talk about uncomfortable things on this show. And if we face it, if we talk about it, we can advocate against it. And then to leave things on a positive note, just finally, some fashion of unity between Republican and Democratic senators. I know many of our viewers, many of Americans watching right now are sick and tired of our Congress not working for us, only thinking about themselves, never reaching across the aisle like they used to do a decade ago. So I'm hoping, after yesterday's events, I'm hoping that we can see in 2021 more reaching across the aisle and more representation of the people, the constituents. So that's what I took from it. What about you, Jeff?
I think what you guys said was very poignant. I agree with everything you said, even though at one point I was getting something out of my eye and it cut to me on the camera, so I was paying attention.
I thought you were crying. No, I'm good.
No, well, yeah, that's what I should have said. I was crying. But listen, I don't want to repeat what you guys just said. I thought it was great. I hate to be the continual optimist on this show, but what happened this week was wrong. I want to reiterate that. I'm not insensitive to what's happening in our government with COVID, with all that stuff, but I have to focus on what I can control right now, because I've noticed I've always tried to pick up something after the new year and what can I do better in this new year, right? And I know I'm speaking in broad terms of the whole year instead of the week, but I'm a better person to the world if I'm a better me, right? If I could control me and control the things in my life that I can and make me the best me I can, the more I could reach out across the aisle, so to speak, to my friends, to my women, to Erica, to people of color, to people of the LGBT community, to anybody. The better I am, the better I will be with you, the more I could help you.
The more present you'll be even.
Exactly. Yeah. So the more that, I don't mean to be selfish in that aspect, because what you guys just said is very important, but I think you need to take care of yourself first before you help other people. And I want to go to Erica, because Erica, first of all, again, sorry for everything you're going through, but we haven't heard from you this week, and it's good for you to be back.
Well, no, thank you. I appreciate everything that you guys are saying. One note that I'll make to all of you is stop being so apologetic about what you're saying. These are things that we need to be very steadfast and clear about what is going on. Sam, you mentioned fanning the flames. You aren't fanning flames when you're just speaking the truth. I often get people who are my, quote, adversaries, who you, just to be very clear, you can only be an adversary if you have someone to fight with, and I'm not fighting with you, so you can fight the air. But let me be very clear with you. I am not making things a racial issue. Me as a black woman, I do not have the power to make it a race issue. I'm speaking on an issue that is about race. What we saw is white supremacy and the idea that white supremacy was being compromised, or that there is power that needs to be perceived to have for white people. If you were someone who decided that you were going to support Trump and it was based on your wallet, it was based on your industry, now is the time to speak up, because we need to know, like, who is with them and who is with the people. I mean, it's a very simple thing. And when I think about what happened on Wednesday, I also think about what happened on Wednesday in downtown LA with a 25-year-old black woman named Berlinda Nito. This is a story that's been picked up all over, mainly on social media, because we have groups of people who really want to see justice being served, although it is not their responsibility to go after the, quote, bad guys. This young woman was walking down the street in downtown LA, and she was accosted by a group of Trump supporters who were demonstrating, and she had her wig torn off, she was beaten, and then she was saved by a Good Samaritan. And just to be clear, there is a photo that is going around of a larger white male with a red beard, and people are saying that he was assaulting her. According to the victim, as well as the police, he was actually the Good Samaritan who pulled her from the crowd and whispered in her ear to just come with him because they were trying to kill her. This is the same place that just months ago, people were marching in the streets saying that Black Lives Matter. What I picked up from this week is that we have so much work to do. And it's not about lip service. It's about actually putting your actions and your steps where your mouth is. It's about actually doing the work. So, Jeff, I'm not mad at the idea that you want to look within yourself and figure out how you can do better. I think that this is a great time for us all to reflect and look within ourselves and decide that if we don't want to be the same person next year that we are today, we need to make those changes. And I think we can all benefit from that.
Well said. Well said. That's why we have these conversations on the show. We don't want to ever gloss over anything or brush anything under the rug. We want to face it, talk about it, and advocate and evoke for change with actionable steps. To Erica's point, 2021 can be not only a new awakening, but hopefully a new normal with equity and equality. So thank you for all your words. And DBL Nation, please keep writing in. At some point, we'll definitely be reading your comments because you guys have a lot to say. We appreciate you. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, meet a young man who served almost 2 decades for a murder he did not commit. Will an apology do any good now? That's later in Freedom Files, wrongfully convicted, plus the road to redemption for a former gang member who was just named Teacher of the Year. He tells our own Al Jackson about his inspirational journey. And could President Trump be removed via the 25th Amendment? How realistic is it with less than 2 weeks until he's out anyways, as well as a lot of Generation Z? They're the ones that have located a lot of those protesters / rioters. And guess what? Now they're facing the consequences because of those internet sleuths. Stay tuned. Welcome back to DBL. There are a lot of people demanding that the president be removed from office for his role in the Capitol riots. Two options are on the table right now, and a lot of you have a lot to say about it: impeachment or the 25th Amendment. If he were to be removed by the 25th Amendment, it would require Vice President Mike Pence and a majority of the president's cabinet secretaries to make it happen. And there's word that Pence is not on board with that idea. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are also considering impeachment. So here's the thing. If they go that route, and if Trump is convicted this time, then he could be banned from ever being president again, okay? I know you guys have a lot of questions in regard to this, especially what's the difference between 25th Amendment and impeachment? What do you think should happen? Tori, what will happen? And briefly, the difference between the two.
So one is the 25th Amendment is there. By the way, it's never been invoked, ever. This has never been done. So that would be Vice President saying, I think the president is unfit, and a majority, 8 people of the cabinet agree. It's a process that's never been tried, and people want it tried now. I think Pence will not go for it. And I also think several of the secretaries have resigned because they don't want to be part of this vote, which is part of it. Number 2, impeachment. You're going to see an impeachment article being brought to the House because we have the House. And at some point, it'll go to the Senate. If they convict, it'll happen. But what I have to say very clearly is this action can't go without consequence. If it does, we are now allowing a breach of the Capitol to be okay and part of the constitutional process. If there's no censure, which is like a slap on the wrist, an impeachment, or at least an effort for the 25th Amendment, what are we telling the world? That the Law and Order Party doesn't want to incriminate real criminals? How does that work?
Especially because, Erica, jump in here, we see already many of the rioters arrested, as they should be, because of Generation Z. These are young adults who are sitting at home looking at photographs, doing their own investigative work and forwarding it to police departments, FBI, etc. And now those individuals are facing the consequences. They're being held accountable. They're going to jail. They're going to pay with time. So why is this not applied to other people in positions of power, in your opinion?
You know, honestly, I think that so many people have been complicit in so many things at this point that there is a fear factor there. And I mean, I don't find that to be shocking. Like, if one person goes down, who are they going to take with them? I've said and speculated, in my opinion, for a very long time, what is the dirt that some people is on some of these people? Because I cannot even justify in my wildest dreams the actions that some of our leadership has taken. Like, it seems very self-destructive. So I only imagine that there's something that's being hidden, in my opinion.
Erica.
It's true. And I just want to say again, you cannot get away with inciting violence that reacted in actual violence and be the leader and get away with it. I am not okay with that. And I think a lot of the country is not okay with that. So whatever the consequences may be, it can't be unchecked. Right. It can't.
And I only chuckled because when Erica says, in my opinion, I just love it because she's
a sleuth.
Yeah, I love you, Erica. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, the Markle family feud goes on. Why Samantha's new tell-all book is already stirring the pot, and it's not even out yet, and it's a success story you've got to see. How a man went from gang member to a star educator. You do not want to miss this. This is coming up next. Welcome back to DBL. Has your life ever come full circle? Well, it has for Darian Cockrell, a former gang member turned Teacher of the Year. Earlier, Al caught up with the educator known as Mr. DC to his students. That's today's DBL Spotlight.
I am so excited to speak with this man, Darian Cockrell. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here on DBL. First of all, thank you for being here. How are you feeling, bruh?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My wife is good. My son is good. I know my students are doing all right, so I'm good.
All right, well, before we get into your backstory, we need to discuss something, and that's that you just won Teacher of the Year, and I've already heard that you're super humble about that, but as a former teacher myself, that's a big deal. How did that affect you when you first heard the news?
To be completely honest with you, when I first found out that I was Missouri Teacher of the Year, my first feeling was fear, because I just knew how important that was, especially for an African-American man, and I just knew the platform that I am now going to have, and I just want to make sure that I'm responsible with it and I do the right thing.
All right, well, let's back it up and start at the beginning. I want to know why you wanted to be a teacher.
Growing up, I didn't have that, that stable family. I didn't have that structure, and I didn't have that positive male role model in my life. And sometimes I didn't have the most positive female role models. But, the educators in my life who pushed me along the way, who gave me inspiration, who helped me see other things in life other than what was going on in my environment, they helped me realize that, you have a lot of greatness in you, and it's important that you get it out of you.
You were not a huge fan of school growing up, and neither was I. Can you tell us why school wasn't your favorite thing and what kind of changed it around?
I think it was my first night in the boys' home. When I was in 7th grade, halfway through 7th grade, I was taken from my family by the state of Missouri, and I was put into a boys' home. And even on that day, I showed up to school, I had my gang colors on, I had some stuff in my locker that I probably shouldn't have had in my locker. And when that social worker came, and she had a bag of my clothes, and it was my principal, my counselor, and they were like, "You're not going back home." When I got to that boys' home and I was sitting in that room by myself, it allowed me to really just think and what is going on with my life? This is going to change. I'm not going back to the environment where I was raised my entire life. From here on out, I have to do something different than what I've been seeing my entire life.
Have you had a chance to speak with anybody, any individuals that you attribute to changing the trajectory of your life?
The first person that I called was my middle school counselor, because, if it weren't for her, I would not be here today. She's the one who came into my life. She introduced me to sports. She helped me along the way. She was the one who helped me get put into that boys' home instead of going to a military boot camp. She was the first person I called.
If you had one message to give to them right now, what would you tell them? What would you tell our DBL family?
First of all, I just want to say that we're all in this together. Don't hang your heads low. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. As long as you are alive, you are breathing, you have the opportunity to make any positive impact in your own life. No one's going to do it for you. You have to think it. You have to manifest it. And I promise you, as long as you put your heart and soul into it, you can make anything you want to happen in your life. So if there's ever any need, anything that you want, please make sure that you reach out to your teachers, because we love you. We want to be there for you guys. As I said, we're in this together. We're going to get through this together.
As a former teacher, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do every day, and just know that your work every day, you're doing God's work, and we appreciate you, Mr. Cockrell. Keep it going, man.
All right, take care.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. You guys have a lot to say, so let's get right to it. Marquita Baker says, I was so angry and exhausted yesterday. Stacey says to the DBL hosts, you have done a great job this week expressing how the chaos has affected you. Thank you for being real and open with your audience. We appreciate you, Stacey. Thank you. And thank you guys for being real. Molly says that poor cop, may he rest in peace. Amen to that, Molly. And then also, we just got this bit of news. So you guys all remember this viral photo, right, of this man. There he is.
He looks like Brett Favre.
In Nancy Pelosi's office. Well, he has been arrested. So that was just reported. Erica, again, we haven't heard too much from you because you weren't here yesterday and you've been dealing with your own grievances. Any final words before we go?
I really don't know what to say at this point. I know that we're all incredibly exhausted. I think that a lot of us need to take a mental health pause, not a break, because we have so much work to do, and that's just it. We have so much work to do.
Yeah, well said. I hope we do it. If you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. Meghan Markle's sister is spilling the tea in a hot new book. Why it probably won't ease any tension, and Taraji P. Henson gets real about a lie she once told her son. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Tori. Erica joining us from home. All right, so Meghan Markle's family seems to be turning against her yet again. According to Us Magazine, her father, Thomas Markle, says he is pleased about an upcoming tell-all about the Duchess, written by his other daughter, Samantha. Yep. So the book, called The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister Part 1, are you kidding me?
That means there's going to be a part 2?
Wow. Is set to be released on January 17th. Samantha has not been shy about speaking out about her half-sister and has given many interviews criticizing Meghan and Harry's decision to step back from their role as senior royals. Meghan has been estranged from Samantha for years and claims she barely even knows her. Okay, so I got to go right back to you on this one, Erica, just because you've been very forthright about your feelings about Samantha Markle.
She loves her.
First of all, the title of that book, Erica, are you kidding me?
I just want to congratulate Samantha.
Yeah.
Recently went back to Markle. I think that it's wonderful that she finally got what she always wanted, for Daddy to finally give her more attention than Meghan. So kudos.
I think, now this is the thing, I might disagree with Jeff on this. I don't think it's going to be a big hit. I know royals usually get a lot of tabloids and a lot of press. I think, and maybe I'm being optimistic, too many people know Samantha Markle is just a big fat liar, and no one would pay money to read her book. I'm hoping that's what happens and it isn't a bestseller, because I think that she's just been looked through.
I want you to be right, but unfortunately people are so drawn to negativity in today's society. Positivity doesn't interest anybody. They want the dirt. They want, even if they know it's not true, they want to open that tabloid. They want to click on that clickbait, and they want to see it. But what do you call that little fold that goes in there?
The book cover?
Of course I know what a book cover is. What do you call the fold?
The jacket.
Man, Tori, I thought you would love books.
Epilogue, prologue, what are you talking about?
You know when you open a book, right?
Yes.
And then there's this little thing about the author inside. Isn't there?
About the author.
What? Isn't there a cute little name for it?
The About Me?
I thought it was called.
No.
Am I
It's called About the Author.
Just get to the point.
Well, I think it's moot now.
Great word, Jeff. Good job. Okay, let's just move on to the next story.
My thing I was going to say is it should start with "you're part of the problem." That joke didn't land at all. Because,
No.
Will somebody find out what that is?
Forward.
What?
No, the forward is what someone writes.
We're moving on. We'll get to that. Somebody please let Jeff know what that little part is. Okay. Taraji P. Henson revealed that she lied to her son about her father, or his father's death. During a recent episode of Peace of Mind with Taraji, the actress says she told her son when he was 9 that his father had died in an accident, when in reality he was murdered. She said her son, who is now 26, later found out the truth, which caused a rift in their relationship. Watch.
I was trying to protect him. You know, I didn't want his joy to leave, and it did. Yeah. And I have so much guilt because I wish I had known what I know now, because I would have handled things differently. You know, maybe we wouldn't have struggled so much, and that's why I go so hard for mental health, because we don't know.
Oh, it's heart-wrenching to hear. Yeah, you know, we also really go very hard in regard to mental health on this show. Have you thought about certain things that you don't want to tell your children you're nodding your head?
I wanted to go back to you because we were just talking about parenting at the break, right? We keep it real as on air as we do off air, but that had to be hard for Taraji because she knew, I'm guessing at some point, she's like, I have to tell my son the truth, right? But you want to protect your children as much as you can. Part of that is not telling them the full truth. What did we just finish up with? Christmas, right? How do you start your relationship with your children? Okay? So sometimes you're doing the best that you think you can to protect your children. Taraji was only doing that. Now she's going through, quote unquote, the repercussions of that. I don't mean to say repercussions because there's nothing wrong with that. I would do the exact same thing to not hurt my children. You do everything you can to not hurt your children.
And I understand that, but if Taraji, and I'm going to ask you too as parents, if Taraji lied at 9, when do you then, eventually I feel like Taraji should have said, hey, your father was murdered, or else this is a huge shock. Am I right?
Well, listen, I'm with Jeff on this one. I think there is no right way. You can definitely consult, and I personally would want to consult with somebody that would help me with like what's age appropriate. There's a reason why we have psychologists consult with schools and superintendents when it comes to school shooting drills. They say you do not want to scare a kindergartner and say that there's somebody outside with a gun. You tell them that there's a dog outside. This is what we got to do to protect ourselves. There's age appropriate things and protocols that you will do for each age group. So that being said, yes, you're going to have to censor the truth to a degree when it comes to your child's age to protect them because they can't process it. So I think the best, I don't think there is a right or wrong answer.
Right.
I think me personally would just have to consult with someone that would know more than me, because I wouldn't know what to do.
There are no answers for being a parent. There are no complete answers.
Yeah.
You
beat yourself up regardless,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I beat myself up every day. You know, Sophie's riding bikes in the house, and I'm
Yeah, but she looks so cool.
And Jeff told me he lets his kids do it too. So.
Listen, it's for a Christmas present. There's no dirt on it. Go ahead, ride it in the house.
Same. Keeps her
Look,
busy.
We're gonna get shamed. We're gonna get shamed for that.
I'm good. Okay, so Emma Stone's husband reportedly kept his marriage proposal low key. According to Page Six, Emma's husband proposed to her in the Saturday Night Live office where they met. He's a segment director on that show. Page Six also revealed that Emma is pregnant with their first child. She and her husband tied the knot in September. Okay, so Eric, I have to ask you, is there too much proposal expectation when it comes to, oh, my man better, or woman, you know, but traditionally speaking, conventionally speaking, my man better make sure that he turns out and has this great proposal for me? What do you think of that expectation?
Well, based on my personal experiences, I have had 2 proposals, and one was very much, it was over the top, and it was all the things, and that marriage didn't work out. I had a very simple proposal this time. My husband proposed to me on a stripped floor because we had a flood, and it was over bacon, and and
is that a euphemism,
and our
America?
marriage has no. It was literally like I told him that we needed bacon so I could cook breakfast, and he's like, "Here's the bacon. I'll always bring home the bacon." And then he got on one knee, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Wow!
Wow! We do kind of. We do kind of operate under the idea of like let's make it something to look forward to. So everything we do in our relationship isn't all at once, and I think sometimes we put too much emphasis on the engagement and the wedding.
I agree.
Jeffrey, you went all out. You went all out.
Listen, this story is so 2000 whatever. I'm not going back because every time I bring it up, you guys laugh and you don't want to hear the story. And then we skip right over.
Fresh face, Jeffy.
No, I lived in California.
Oh, you look good.
Listen, we're never playing this video again, so audience get a good look. Whenever something's good about me, people like want to gloss over it, right? You guys aren't really happy for me.
What are you
You're
talking
mocking.
about?
You're
It's
mocking.
beautiful.
It's stunning.
Dude, stunning.
It's mocking.
You had her favorite musician come out.
See, now you're last time we skipped over that.
And you had it all dressed up like North Carolina with the woods. Isn't that right? Yeah.
I think
Enjoy
it's
it, everybody.
beautiful.
Soak it up. I'm taking the rights back after today.
And I didn't want a simple proposal. I'm going to keep it real.
You want to complicate it.
I would have been sad if Mark was just like, hey. Like, I would have been really bummed. So, yeah, his wasn't expensive by any means, but he went into the forest and had a whole setup for me, and I was completely flabbergasted, completely taken aback, and I loved it. Quickly, what about you?
You don't laugh at that?
I think it's beautiful. So is yours.
Yours is beautiful. Why are you
Yours
so
is gorgeous.
sensitive?
That was so mocking and insincere.
Okay,
I can't even.
Very quickly, I'll say Brooks wrote me an anniversary gift, a journal of what we all done during dating, and on the last page it said February 17th, the day I asked Tori to marry me, and I was like, but that's today, and then he got down on one knee. It was really good.
That's a good one. If Erica only knew.
Erica knows. They're mocking.
If Erica only knew some of the things while she was talking about her proposal. Erica, you're going to have to watch this show back.
Bacon.
Watch it back. Freedom Files, wrongfully convicted. A very important episode is coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Welcome back to DBL. The road to forgiveness can be a complicated one, but despite spending 20 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit, Keon Sprinkle has found his peace with those who did him wrong. That is today's Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted.
17-year-old Keon Sprinkle is playing video games at home with friends.
My brother came and said, you know, there's a girl at the door. Long and behold, it was a girl that my older cousin was talking to.
His cousin, 25-year-old Clarence Williams, lives in the same housing project as Keon and is having an affair with the woman.
She tells me that her husband is sitting outside of my cousin's door, basically. She didn't want to walk up the street so that he could see her.
Keon tells her that she can stay.
While I'm talking to her, I hear like, boom, 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 boom.
The woman's husband, 29-year-old Charles Taylor, is shot and killed in the street. Boston police zero in on Keon's cousin because of the affair.
I'm looking like, this don't look good, you know, because I watch movies, so in movies, the boyfriend normally, this is how that plays out. One way or another, they come raid my house when they raid his house.
Both men are arrested. Keon is charged with first-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon. Police say Keon shot and killed Charles after his cousin told him to do it. There is no forensic evidence tying Keon or his cousin to the crime, and witnesses side with Keon.
The two eyewitnesses came and they're like, nah, it ain't him.
But then after suspected police pressure, statements start to change.
The lady who was in my house, she gave them like 5 different police statements.
Jurors agree that Keon is not the actual shooter, but they don't believe his cousin is the shooter either.
I got tried as the trigger man. The prosecutor's closing arguments was that I am the trigger man, but I got found guilty of not being a trigger man, being a person with a trigger man that we don't even know who the f is the trigger man.
Jurors convict Keon of joint venture and convict his cousin as an accessory. Both men receive life sentences. Keon asks his grandma to bring him law books, and he begins to study his case.
I always have faith, right? Because hope is not really believing, but just wanting something to happen. Faith is really believing.
While in prison, Keon's cousin tells him that the true killer confessed to him before their trial, but he didn't say anything because he didn't want to snitch, and he assumed the truth would come to light on its own.
When I first went to prison, our relationship sucked. I didn't like him, and I was more angry.
Then, in the late 2000s, Keon's lawyer finds evidence of police misconduct, and multiple witnesses recant their stories. On top of that, new details come to light regarding a different accomplice and shooter. On February 6th, 2020, after 20 long years, Keon and his cousin are released from prison. In May of 2020, the DA dismisses the charges against both men.
Keon, welcome to DBL. So next month will mark 1 year since your release. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Keon, what was it like to get out and then get out in the midst of COVID, what we're all going through right now? Was that even crazier than COVID itself?
What I experience is for a lot of other people that I know that got out of prison, when we come home, what ends up happening is we're used to seeing a certain amount of people at one time, and we're trained from being in there, watch people's eyes, their mouth, their hands. And, being out here, your brain still focuses on that. So when you see clusters of people, like when I first came home, I had so much anxiety all the time because I couldn't pay attention to the landscape of things. So I really didn't want to be out as much. When COVID hit, it stopped people from being able to be out. But when I was seeing people with smaller doses. So little over little over little, I was able to be in social settings and feel comfortable.
You were the youngest inmate at your prison. How did that impact your experience there?
It was a lot because I was the only teenager there. So with that being said, I think certain things that I may have been tested on, I wasn't, because I was like the baby of the prison. So it was like I'm everybody's either little cousin, little brother, this and that.
Keon, this might be a weird question because I know you're innocent, but looking back, if you could tell your teen self anything, what would that be?
Take advantage of your time that you have behind the wall even more than you did, because there's certain things that I wanted to learn, couple of different languages. I did a little bit of Arabic, Spanish, of course. Try to take the time to kind of master these things because they'd be more useful for you whenever you get released.
Just listening to you, Keon, in your answers alone, you're definitely a half glass full type of person.
Speaking exactly about that, your positivity, do you still have a relationship today with your cousin?
Coming home, I was faced with, do I reconcile and make sure that we are close so that our families get together, or do I hold on to the anger, right? So what I've learned is forgiveness is for yourself and not really for the other person. Because when you forgive and really forgive, what ends up happening is you don't keep going through that mentally over and over and over again. You kind of let it go. So it's kind of I don't believe in people that say, well, I forgive, but I don't forget. Because if you forgive and you don't forget, as soon as something happens, your brain goes back to that, and then the argument starts because you bring it up. So I took that approach, and it's beneficial for me, it's beneficial for him, and for our whole family.
I have to be real with you though, Keon. For me personally, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, and I can't even imagine going through everything you went through, I do like to hear somebody take accountability. So I have to be 100 with you. Would an apology change anything between you two? Would it help your relationship grow more? Would it give you even an ounce more of peace that, in my opinion, that you deserve, considering that he knew before the trial?
He did apologize.
Okay.
From the state, here's my thing, right? It really doesn't mean nothing. Sorry's not feeding children. Sorry's not doing any of that. So just keep the sorry. It's okay, because I'm gonna flourish regardless, right? But keep the memory to try to stop yourself from repeating your behavior, and that'll work better for me.
You are truly a remarkable and beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. To those of you out there looking to learn more, please follow Keon on Instagram or Facebook. You can learn a lot from him. We'll be right back.
All right, thank you.
Monday on DBL, Sandra Lee, better known as Dr. Pimple Popper. She's taken on new cases and telling us what really grosses her out.
Raw chicken under your fingers, a toenail.
That's Monday on DBL.
Welcome back to DBL. People love bumper stickers, but you might want to think twice about them. We're telling you why in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. So bumper stickers could inadvertently tell criminals all about you. Sports team stickers might reveal that you're not home at night because you're at a game. Stickers can also reveal personal information like how many kids you have, even their names. We've all seen those, right? And then there are those baby on board stickers. They signal to criminals that your hands could be full at your destination, making you an easy target. So when it comes to driving, for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. We here at DBL always talk about how we're all one big family. And today we are taking a moment to remember Rick Reel, the father of our cameraman who we love and adore. Well, he passed away yesterday. And his brother Rick, who passed in April. They both died of natural causes, unrelated to COVID. And let me tell you, Rob, our cameraman, is an integral part of this show. And our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family right now. Their loving spirits will be dearly missed. And Rob, we absolutely love and adore you. Rob is right now holding the camera. We can't show his face, but we know you're going through a lot right now, Rob. And let me tell you, you've been a rock to all of us. I hope you allow us to be a rock to you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love you.
All right, we'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Bye, guys.